Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Kooplings. First off, how do I sound, chat? Thank you for joining me for an impromptu chat this evening. I've just wired up a brand new desk, which means that everything has been rewired. So I have not had a chance to test my microphone. It looks good, like the levels look good, at least in Streamlabs, but in Audacity, everything looks a little light, a little low. So hopefully everything sounds good. And if it doesn't, I'll clean it up in post. Good evening, everybody. What a few days it has been for Nintendo, huh? Great time to be a Nintendo enthusiast, if you will. That's why I'm live. I wanted to talk about today's news specifically. So I'm definitely not going to do all of the news for the Nintendo Shack, but I definitely want to talk about today's news specifically because I'm not exactly sure what the news will be like come Sunday. This news could all change today, tomorrow, and like it literally any moment. Nothing could happen, right? Like nothing could happen. We could roll into Sunday in the same spot that we're in today, but with kind of how everything is happening, I kind of just didn't want to let it sit out there for too long. Especially because I think there's probably a lot of Nintendo fans out there kind of feeling like how I'm feeling. Like, I'm pretty pumped about the Switch 2. I'm pretty bummed about everything that's happening, and it's kind of monumental, like what's going on. Like, it's unprecedented for sure. Probably a word you'll hear a lot. I don't think we've ever seen anything remotely like this, and I don't think anybody knows how to react to it. And anytime you have those sorts of ingredients, I think there's a lot of anxiety out there, a lot of worry, a lot of panic, a lot of fear mongering, a lot of misinformation, a lot of education. And I think generally, I know for me, I like hearing about it. I like kind of exploring the space, talking with friends, familiar voices. And I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's just go live. I'm going to call it let's call it a Donnie Direct to you. This is a Shack mini episode. I will put it out over the podcast feed, and we'll still have our regular show on Sunday. But yeah, who knows if people like these? I don't know. Maybe I'll do more. Probably not. I don't want to get your hopes up. Probably won't, but who knows? Maybe we will. So yeah, first things first. Let's kind of get into it. Let me pull up some things here. Share screen. Share tab. There we go. How about that? See if I can make myself a little bit bigger there. Ooh, picture in picture, even better. All right, so I'm going to read this. Pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2 in the United States will not start April 9th, 2025. In order to assess the potential impact of tariffs and the evolving market conditions, Nintendo will update timing at a later date. The launch date of June 5th, 2025 remains unchanged. GameStop will continue to work closely with Nintendo to provide updates as soon as more information becomes available. Stay tuned for further details. News broke earlier today that, if I can pop this out and just hide it away, that Nintendo has delayed the pre-order process for Switch 2. So I want to recap a few things before we talk about this. We had our Nintendo Shack show Wednesday night. Hope you guys enjoyed it. For those of you that made it to the end, 4 hours of direct breakdown. And in that show specifically, we kind of had like a little argument moment, myself and Sean and just the whole cast, kind of talking about the price. So I want to speak to that and then kind of recap what's happened since then. So the way that I did notes is I tried to organize the information into like groups. So I started with the hardware, and all the accessories. I started on physical products, and then I went into like services and features, and then we went into software. And because all of those things were priced differently, I thought we would kind of address the price with every one of those products, like just kind of as we go through it. So we'll talk about the price of the console with the console, price of the controllers with the controllers, price of the games with the game, and even the game prices, as we all know, are wildly different. And so I kind of thought we would kind of talk about it because I thought opinions might change based on the price between games. Now, in that moment where we were kind of arguing, which I think is not even the case, but just call it that for now. I didn't realize something. Sean was a bit, I think, further ahead of the curve than I was. I had spent the whole afternoon doing the notes, reading blogs, reading websites, journalists, post on websites, pre-orders, GameStops. I was in the news. I wasn't really monitoring or paying a whole lot of attention to reactions beyond generally seeing a couple things on Blue Sky, and for the most part, our listeners, right? You guys in the chat, you guys that are in the chat with us live all day, you guys that are in chat on the podcast, and all of our community, those members of the Ocho, all of your stuff. So I knew that people had sticker shock for sure, right? I absolutely knew that. I don't think I knew the extent or the length of it, and definitely didn't have that. I hate that everybody's hating on this thing. I think that Sean maybe had some of that, and I think we were at odds. And it wasn't until I woke up the next day and I opened Reddit, and like every thread on every Nintendo forum was about the price. And I opened up Blue Sky, and every blog post from every game site was on the price. And I opened my browser, and I'm getting fed, Washington Post articles and CNBC and ABC News and all of the news, the mainstream news media covering Nintendo and their crazy price. And then obviously when Treehouse goes live, which we all know, right? I'm doing a long way of kind of recapping. If you've been under a rock somewhere, the moment Treehouse went live, Drop the Price became a meme. I'm actually really impressed, almost proud of the commitment that these people have had, because Nintendo's had 2 Treehouse Lives probably for 6 to 8 hours total, and that Drop the Price has flooded that chat the entire time. So in hindsight, I'm sorry for the pause. I just looked at the chat for the first time, and I see several of you here. Yeah, Brendan, I mean, it's not easy just talking by yourself. If Sean or somebody wanted to join me, Dev, they're more than welcome to join me, but I definitely just wanted to kind of talk it out. So, I figured I would just go by myself. May not be for everybody. I get that. In hindsight, that Nintendo Shack episode about the Direct, I feel like I just completely buried the lead. Like, we should have led about the pricing overall and the reaction to it and how everybody feels about it, because that is the story. The story about the Nintendo Switch 2 right now is that. It has nothing to do with the hardware, its capabilities. It has nothing to do with Mario Kart or Donkey Kong. It is 100% full stop, ends with the price. All right. So that gets us to today's news, because possibly that price that everybody's super upset about, that price that nobody wanted to pay for then on Wednesday, that price could be increasing, could be going up. And that is a wild circumstance of events. That's crazy, considering that Nintendo had a Direct. They announced this new thing that we've been waiting on almost half a decade for. They priced it. Everybody got complete sticker shock. They're like, nope, never mind. And they actually could come back, and it could be not just more expensive. It could be significantly more expensive. And we've never seen anything like that. I honestly don't think nobody knows what's going to happen. So anybody out there that's telling you this is how it's going to, they have no idea. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I think there's probably a lot of different good ideas out there, maybe some good guesses, but absolutely nobody has any idea. It's not even crazy to think that as much as it is to sound like, maybe Nintendo just goes, you know what, we're not going to do the Switch 2 at the moment. Like, could they indefinitely just delay it? I don't think so, but could they? Absolutely, they could. Like, is that on the table? Yeah, I think it is. I could totally see them be like, you know what, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait on America before we just start, taking losses and stuff like that. I don't think they're going to, but it's possible, and that is kind of blowing my mind. So as I start processing all of this information over the couple of days, a member had posted the episode of Kit and Krista, which I don't listen to. But definitely respect them. They're clued in opinions and stuff. But they have a quote that's going around that's making headlines where they said, I don't want to blow things out of proportion, but this feels like a true crisis for Nintendo. And still for me, the next day, Thursday, when I read that quote, I was like, really? A crisis? Because to this point, till today, up until today, like even Thursday night when I went to sleep, I was like, yeah, I know people are pissed off that it's $450. But I just don't think anybody's going to not buy it. I know there's a lot of people saying they're going to buy it, or they're not going to buy it. And I think they either were not going to buy it to begin with, or probably more casual. Like, I don't necessarily think they were, that early wave anyway. Even at $450 or $500, I still think, especially in America, I think a lot of people were totally going to buy a Nintendo console for $500. Maybe not as many as before, but millions of people would still buy at that price. Because I know, like, video games, maybe people want to put in a box, but here in America, dude, people buy all kinds of things for more than that. I mean, tons. They buy shoes that cost more than that. They buy purses that cost more than that. They buy shirts that cost more than that. They buy computers and laptops that cost significantly more than that. Even in the gaming space, GPUs and cards cost 5 times that much. So, like, I get that it's not unexpected from Nintendo, but I wasn't necessarily sure how many people were like, no, I'm out. And then today's news happens, and judging on what might happen here, I'm now actually starting to agree with that sentiment. This does seem like maybe a crisis for Nintendo on multiple fronts, and that's really why I wanted to have this chat tonight, this fireside chat, if we will. I'm going to take a drink. When you're doing this by yourself and you don't have anybody to talk to, there is like oftentimes when you have a panel, you can like take a breath and somebody will just, instinctively just fill in. Can't do that by yourself. So I always feel like I don't want to have dead air. But I'm going to have to get used to that if I'm going to do this solo. So I'm going to take a drink and just be silent for a moment. I hope you guys are having a drink or a smoke tonight, because Lord knows I needed one. I'm not like stressing or anything about it, but just kind of deep in thought, because I just think everything ahead of us is so unpredictable. My mind just kind of races through different scenarios. But yeah, this does seem like maybe some sort of a crisis for Nintendo right now, and they are really caught between what feels like a rock and a hard place, because, I mean, one, they've already announced the price, a price that people didn't like to begin with. So that is already a challenge in itself. They've lost the PR race, which that has almost taken me more surprise than anything else. Nintendo has routinely been such in control of their messaging and their marketing. So the whole point of the directs and everything is that they could essentially manufacture out the risk of a stage demonstration. You don't have to worry about controllers not hooking up or things not going right. Like, they're so adverse to that. To see them get so off the wagon with this thing in 48 hours, they've lost one. Okay, hang on. Let me refocus. Let me recenter here. The Switch 2 on Tuesday night was such an immediate slam dunk for tens of millions of people to just wake up and purchase blindly. If it was what we expected it to be, and there was no surprise, you could have tons of people. Brendan, do you want to, hang on. We've never podcasted, Brendan. Like, I don't want to say that I don't want to talk to you. I'd love to talk to you, dude. But like, do you have a good microphone and stuff like that? Because if you don't, that could be a problem. I would prefer somebody that like, kind of routinely does that, just so I don't have to. It's not that I even care. It's just I don't want to have to. If I want to release it, I don't have to like do a bunch of editing and all that. Maybe Kyle, for example, like Kyle the Pug. He's always streaming. He's got good mic. I mean, if Kyle would like to join or something, I could maybe extend it to him. Yeah, but anyway, sorry. I want to get back on track. So Tuesday night, before we all went to bed, the Switch was such an easy slam dunk for tens of millions of people to just buy. We were going to wake up the next day. We were going to see the Direct. We were going to see brand new games. They were going to announce the price. We knew what the price was going to be. We all thought $399. Okay, so it's $449. That's bigger than expected, but like, come on, that's not crazy. It's $50, not insane. The games was the part that I think people are actually excited or upset about. But just again, staying on track, it was an easy purchase, right? And then in 48 hours, every piece of media attached to this console is essentially negative. Anything that's really penetrating right now is essentially negative. All you're reading are confusion over prices because there is no standard at all. There's no standard amongst games. There's no standard amongst regions. There's no standard amongst territories. So misinformation is everywhere. People think Mario Kart is $90. People think digital games are cheaper. They are cheaper, but only in certain countries. And people are like, no, they're all $70, but they're $80. Nobody has a clue, like the general public. It's just gone. They've just lost that message. It's honestly like I'm wondering if they need to like relaunch this thing. Like I'm wondering if they need to cut like weather the storm, let the stuff die down, and then come back and reintroduce everything, because they've completely lost that battle. And then you have the tariffs, you have the price, and you have the delay. So every piece of information attached to this is either anger, the word delay, the word price, or confusion. And I'm stunned. I know everybody's concerned about the price of the console, and that is the story, but I'm actually surprised that, at least for me, the YouTube channels that I usually listen to, the podcast, nobody's really talking about just like how twisted and out of the barn this has gotten for Nintendo so fast. It's like almost impressive. Like it's just I don't know. It's just a very crazy. If this wasn't on my bingo card, I find this to be the most surprising part of it all. So this is all happening. They have to figure out what to do here. We don't know. Like, we don't know what they're going to do, right? Like, we don't know what that means. Generally speaking, you'd think they'd raise the price. You would hope that maybe you would hope, Americans would probably hope, maybe a better way of putting it, that they would smooth the tariffs out across the globe, which I think they were trying to do. And I think that's why the price is as high as they are for everything. I think that's what they were trying to do. I think they were expecting a tariff at a certain number, lower than what they've got. And that's why everything seems 20 to 40% higher. That's why the consoles $50 higher than you expect. That's why games are $20 more than you expected. That's why accessories are $15, $20 more than you expected. They're essentially smoothing that cost out globally. Like, with volume, they'll make it back as long as people aren't too put off. And I don't think they were at $450 and $80. I really don't. For all the drop the price memes, I honestly think when those pre-orders went live, I think they would have sold out. I think people would have bought the games. They would have begrudgingly done it, but they would have. But now they can't do that because they've already announced the price, and they've already announced the price globally. So if they just start raising it across the globe, everyone across the world will know that they are paying for American tariffs, and then they will be more mad. And this is just, it's kind of a nightmare. Like, I definitely will not write them off. It'll be fine. Nintendo's going to be okay. But like, this could have real long-lasting impacts to like the lifetime sales of the Switch 2. Before it's even released, they could be losing millions, tens of millions of purchases, and that is what a crazy scenario that is. But that is absolutely on the table right now, and Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like, honestly, that's it. That's why I'm podcasting. I'm podcasting because I do not know. I have no idea what's going to happen. I think they're going to have to raise the price. I really don't know. I don't know. Like, if Nintendo, as we have been reported to believe, maybe they have 10 million of these things here in America. I don't know if they have that many, but maybe they have 5 million of them here, or 2 or 3 million of them here. Maybe they sell those at the price because maybe they're not impacted the tariffs. Maybe they announced that due to the tariffs, the price will increase in June or something, or after launch day, or I guess no, because it launches in June. So like maybe in September. I expect that in the American market, they might try to push either a price increase and probably more likely, and they could very well raise the price of games, software, services, accessory. They're going to eat. They're not just going to eat that margin. They're not. I imagine Nintendo right now is doing all of those math, running all those different scenarios. If we do this, what does that mean? If we do this, what does that mean? I would like to remind everyone, if you're not thinking about it this way, remember to think that they are thinking 8 years from now. They're thinking if we sell X amount of consoles per year for 8 years and we change this number, $10, what does that cost us? And it could cost them hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. So it's not like quick math to do. And given everything that's going on, it's not easy to feel good that you're working with numbers that won't change. I think everything is subject to change. And we could be, I think generally what we're looking at, I think the second shoe to drop here that maybe people aren't really talking about now is right now this feels like a very Nintendo problem because they just announced the price to try to launch console. This is an industry problem. So if nothing changes policy wise here in this country in the short term, this is going to happen across the board. Not just Nintendo. Right now, that's all. Right now, Nintendo's taking the brunt of this, like in the news, but this is an industry-wide problem. So I imagine that everybody right now is scrambling, trying to figure out what can we do? Can we make accessories in America? Can we print games in America? How long will it take for us to get there? Like, because they're going to try to offset these costs as fast as possible. And another reason why I wanted to record this tonight is, like I said, we could wake up tomorrow and I don't know, Vietnam and America made a deal and it's all different now. And then come Sunday, all of this is outdated news. Like, that's why I wanted to record this now. I was like, wait a minute, I want to talk my way through it. I want to get off my chest because who knows come Sunday what it might be. We have no idea. This could all be for naught, but I don't suspect that it is. So, yeah. The thing that I'm kind of wondering is, I'm going to go to chat here in a minute, but the thing that I'm kind of wondering, that's a good one, Yarden, a really good one. I'll address that in a moment, is what can Nintendo do to at least try and appease the customer? They're going to lose customers. I think they already have. I think the price was so high to begin with that like people were on the brink, and anything else, they're going to lose customers. I do think there will be people that check out. And the sad part about that, man, is it's really not Nintendo's fault. I'm never going to be the guy that tells you not to be upset and not to flood chats and stuff. If that's how you want to make your voice be heard, that's your right to do so. Tell them to screw off. You're not going to pay $80 for Mario Kart. I get it. I was trying to defend kind of some of that anger on our podcast Wednesday. That's why I didn't want it to be so easily dismissed. That's kind of what I felt was happening. Hey, people don't like this, and then it was kind of being dismissed, and I didn't like that. But at the same time, like, it's not their fault. like this isn't their fault. Like, they are reacting to the conditions that's being placed upon them, and it's like I just, man, maybe that energy could be better utilized. I don't know, calling some senators or something and blowing up some phones. I'm not for once expecting a senator to hear us and do anything. So I get that. But man, make their phones ring off the hook all day. And then maybe they just get so annoyed that they at least make a statement on the matter or something. Like, maybe that would have done more than just flooding the treehouse chat and those poor people trying to have that stream, and any developer trying to show you their game just being inundated with that constantly. So I do. I'm again. I know there's a lot of people that don't defend billion-dollar corporations. I get it. They're a big boy, but I kind of feel bad for them. I really do. It's just, and I would if this was anybody, to be honest with you. If this was an indie dev, EA, Activision, PlayStation, I'd feel bad. I'd feel exactly the same way, because this doesn't feel, I don't say, quite fair. So I'm starting to wonder what could Nintendo do if they have to raise the price. So let's just start there. We'll start there, and then I'll go to some chats. If they have to raise the price, and I don't know how much they would. There are a lot of people that are taking like 40% of the price. That's not how that math works. For one, it's declared value, not retail value. That's why we have like MSRP versus actual cost. So let's say the Switch doesn't cost $450 to produce. It just doesn't. We don't know what the margin Nintendo has on it, but it doesn't cost that much. Considering that they're selling the Japanese model at $330, I think they're probably selling that one at or around near cost. So let's give it a little room. Let's say it's $350, right? So you do 20-40% of that, because here's the thing. They could just go, we're just going to take every dollar that's being added to us and we're going to add it to that price. 100% they could. I don't think they would, though. Again, the console is the razor, the software is the razor blades. I think they would try to limit how much they raise the console and find other ways to make it back. I think that's how they would go. But I think you're probably looking at a bump, and I would put that in the range of, I would guess, I want to be nice and give everybody some hope and maybe something positive. I would say $30 to $60 per console, up to $100, I think is possible, with the tariff. But like I said, I think they're going to try to do the math and go, what can we do? And I'm not trying to find out ways to save Nintendo money. They've got, a whole damn department full of people who can do that. I'm trying to think of ways to make this good for us. Because guess what, guys? I'm super fucking pumped to buy this damn Switch. This Switch looks awesome. I want it so bad. I was kind of distraught today when this news came out, because you guys know, if you were there on Wednesday, all I wanted to do was pre-order that thing. I took the day off. I so badly just wanted to get in one safe pre-order. I was calling GameStop, like, just let me get an order in now and not have to worry about it. And now I'm very much worried about it. And that's just that's a blow. So here's some ideas. Let's say Nintendo has to raise the price of the console. I'll go the high end. It's $100 on both sides. So it's $550. If they have to do that, what can they do to make you go, yeah, it costs a lot more, but I still want it? Because they can. Like, there are ways, right? Like, do they have some software they can whip up? Can they include some stuff in the box, right? Like, I don't know what it could be. Can't be too much hardware, because one, those systems are probably already packed, but two, right, the hardware costs money to produce, and they're also subject to the tariffs. So I'm thinking software-wise, could they do something? Could they have an ambassadors pack, an early adopters bundle? I'm thinking, like, what if they just included like a game of your choice, like a digital voucher for a game, any game, even like the $80 games? Would that be okay for you? So if Nintendo shows up next week and they go, hey, due to the tariffs, the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be $550. But guess what? We're putting Nintendo Welcome Tour and a game of your choice in the box. And if you buy the one with Mario Kart, and you get Mario Kart. Like, is that enough? I think that's really good. I think a lot of people would actually sign up for that. So I'm thinking maybe even smaller. Could they go with some Switch One software? Right, like, could they grab, like, I'm thinking like in the Wii U days, they kind of would like bundle like a game of your choice, and you could like pick from like 3 or 4 games. I think like Pikmin was one of them, Wind Waker was one of them, maybe like NES Remix. Could they grab a couple Switch One games and be like, hey, we know it sucks, so we're going to give everybody, you can have Mario Golf, Mario and Luigi Bros. Return to Dreamland Kirby game, stuff like that. 1-2 Switch, put 1-2 Switch back in the box. Actually, I've changed my mind. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to Switch 2 with 1-2 Switch and everybody's 1-2 Switch. I want to put it all in the box. That's amazing. I just want to root for chaos. But like, if they did something like that, would that appeal to you? Maybe a year of Nintendo Switch Online? They just include that in the box. Like, would people be accepting of that, or would the price just be an immediate turn off and they just wouldn't do it at all? That's kind of where my head is. And I'm wondering if that's maybe where their head is. And I do wonder if they could actually get real creative. I think there's a way that if you wanted to, you could get real creative and like go grab an old ROM, like maybe like 4 of them. You just go literally 3DS Ambassador style and be like, you know what? The first 10 million units that sell, we're going to put XYZ Game Boy 64 game on there, and you just have them and nobody else does. People would buy it just for that reason. I know a lot of collectors would. They'd buy that box and never open it just for the ROMs that nobody else has. So that's kind of where my head is. And I'm hoping that maybe that's what happens. Obviously, the biggest fear is they just show up and it's like it's $600, $700 and that's it. Just buy it if you want. And I do want to address that. Like, I do want to address that, at least from my point of view, because there's probably people out there that are pretty bummed out because they want to buy it like me. But before I do, I'm just going to scroll up the chat. I'm going to go back in time here, and I'm just going to kind of scroll through here and see if I can't read some stuff. So let's just shout them out. So Riley King says the price is definitely going to go up for sure. Yep. Yarden says, in hindsight, do you think they should have just delayed the direct and waited? Absolutely. I mean, yes, absolutely. They're probably kicking themselves that they didn't do it. But I mean, I get it. You have all these plans in motion. You've set these dates. You've got these people. It would have been a huge, like, imagine the reaction to that news. The direct is the 5th or whatever, and now it's not. Never mind. Sorry, we'll see you in June. That would have been a problem. And plus, they're trying to launch in June, trying to line up with retailers. Like, that's what I'm kind of saying. Like, it's kind of, man, it just sucks, man. It's just kind of not their fault. So Captain Awesome says, Donnie, with the prices and confusion, I'm wondering, I'm a collector, physical collector type. I must have 60 physical Switch games, but this moment to go digital, I'm unsure. That's a great question, man. I'm in the same boat. I have over 120 Switch games in physical boxes and, probably 3 or 4 times that in digital things. And like, I've already talked about those digital card keys, which I'm actually starting to come around to, but we'll save that for Shaq. But yeah, like if the prices are going to be this high, you'd almost think that, because that's another thing they could do. They could raise physical copies because of the tariffs and then keep the digital way low. So like, what if they raised everything to like $80 or dare I say $100, but the digital copies were $70, right? Like, they could just go all digital. I even thought to myself, like, could they just go digital? Like, could that be one way to eat some of this back? They go, you know what? No, we're going to on the fly. We're going to make a digital SKU. So everything that everybody buys, we get a bigger cut of that. Or could that make them introduce a digital SKU down the line? Like, that's something else you could be thinking about. They'd be like, all right, we're going to launch. We're just going to eat the cost now, but we're going to introduce a digital model in year 2 or year 3. And that'll help us on the back end. Like, I bet they're going through all that decisions now. But Captain Awesome, here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's my answer to this question. I think the Switch 2 is very likely the last gasp of physical media. 100%. I think you look at those game key cards, you already kind of see Nintendo with their digital game, like their digital, what do they call it? The virtual game card. You see what they're doing. They're laying the bricks for an all digital future. We know this is coming. It's inevitable. It will happen. The question is, how many more consoles do we have? And it doesn't look like we have another one. It looks like I would expect maybe by the end of the Switch 2's life, I would not be surprised if all physical copies were those game key cards. Especially if they're dealing with tariffs and trying to make up, margins everywhere they can, almost even more so in that kind of climate. But the only hope that we have is that people buy the physical copies. But again, with these tariffs, if they have to raise the price of those, even if we want them to, even if they want to, it will mean less copies sold. And that'll even push Nintendo to try and push people digital even more. So I think this is it. This is video game media's final stand, and I'm going to buy as much of it as I can. Like 100% I am. But it makes me feel better to like vote with my own wallet. It doesn't do, it's irrational. It doesn't mean anything. Everybody will continue to go more digital, and that's all Nintendo will see, and they will make decisions based on that. So I understand that voting with my wallet doesn't make anybody, it does nothing. It is a drop in a pond, but it makes me feel better. And I like seeing that shelf. I like seeing my collection, and this is it. Because I will not start collecting game key cards. I just won't. Like at that point, it's over. So I'm going to get as much as I can, which means I'm going to buy the Switch 2, and then I'm going to buy Mario Kart. I'm not buying the bundle. I won't, because I want the cartridge. I want it. So that's what I'm looking at. But if you're going all digital, you're like, hey man, it's not worth the hassle, not worth the cost, dude. I get it. I 100% get it. Here we go. Murakami says, do you think there'll be black market for Canadian Switch 2s? I do. Yeah, anytime there's anything demand, you could 100% expect scalpers and opportunists to try to exploit that demand for gain. 100% I do. If they can bring in an illegal Switch 2 and sell it below cost here, that will definitely happen, especially if you're local, right? So if you live in those states, Minnesota, North Dakota, Washington, Oregon, like if you live borderline, I expect a lot of that to happen. Or at least, I don't know, a lot. I don't think it's going to be tens of millions, but I do expect some of that to happen if they can, right? But you still got to get it through customs and declare it and everything. I don't know. Yarden asks, what's the ceiling? I can't imagine a $600 Switch. I don't know. I really don't know. I want to say I can't either, but like it could be $700, it could be $650. It could be $700. I don't know. I don't know, man. And I think that's what we're bracing for. Riley says lower the software. No, again, I think if anything, I know what this, so Riley's saying that this is something Nintendo could do to make us feel better. Yeah, but that would cost them too much money. And especially if they're trying to make money back, I think it's actually more likely they raise the software. They go further. And it's even if they don't raise the software, like let's say 80 is the top, I actually could see them making more of like that second tier game and just selling them for 80. Whereas like maybe before they would have tried to sell them for 60 or 50. No, like everything will just kind of be 80. So if they're making like Donkey versus Mario versus Donkey Kong 2, it's $80, which nobody will want to buy. But like that's what they're going to try to do to recover as much of this as they can. I like this. Daniel says, pack in one of their save for a rainy day titles like Twilight Princess. It's been ready for years, supposedly. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, could they do something real special and just get people on board even at a higher price? And to do that, like when they come back, like how do they have to, like at some point they have to try and recontrol the narrative. Because again, the messaging has just gotten nuts. Riley, if they put the wheelchair game in the box, I'm not going to buy it. You know I'm joking, but yeah. Yarn says 1 year of Nintendo Switch Online and expansion pack included. Yeah, that 100%. I think I could see something like that. It's easy. It doesn't cost them a thing to do. They throw it in the box and they repitch it as we've added more value to it. Due to tariffs, we have to raise the price, but guess what? We've also just made it better. I could see that. I also 100% expect with this news, if it holds, Nintendo Switch Online is going up. It will. 100%. It will go up, and perhaps sooner than they wanted it to, because that's another way that they can try and recoup some of this cost. And I say that to say this. If you're about to be up on Nintendo Switch Online, I'd renew as fast as possible. And if not just renew, I would renew now and stack. Because it's possible it could go up. Let's say they were thinking next year we're going to make everything go up $10. Maybe now it goes up $20 or $30, right? And maybe they move that up. Maybe they announce that happens at launch. Like maybe they move that up a bit. I could definitely see it. So, yeah, definitely possible. Oh man, Tony Baker with the win. Add Mother 3. Oh, that's it. That's it. That's so easy. You put Mother 3 in a ROM, you put it on the damn thing, you put a voucher in every bag, and you just, hey, it's $700, it's $800. Charge $800 if you want. People will buy that shit. 100%. That's very good. Hey, Sean. Sean did make it. What's up, buddy? Sean says, Donnie Late Night Video Game Talk Show. I like talking this stuff out, and just kind of letting my mind process it. It lets me, kind of physically voice it, and it kind of gets it out of my mind, so I stop thinking about it. It's kind of what I'm doing tonight. So I'm gonna take another drink. I'm glad Sean's here. I was actually just about to talk about Sean. So, one of the things that I think Sean is really kind of spot on about is his pushback on the mob. I think that's just the easiest way to put it. Sean hates the mob. And I think I do too. Like, I'm generally against groupthink, especially when groupthink is more of like group rage, like when everybody just piles onto something. I think that really bothers some people. I'm sorry, I just lost train of thought because Sean's chatting at me. That really bothers Sean, and he calls it out, and he did it on our show, and I think he was right. He's very upset about the outrage of people piling on. There are a lot of people that are acting like $450 is an impossible price to ask for a video game console. And I agree with Sean. It's like, come on. There's a lot of people that have, for one, let me just say this. There's a lot of people in this country have a lot of money. Like, a lot of money. I was telling Dev private chat earlier, it's like, it kind of, to a point, it kind of doesn't matter. And I want to be clear on this. I understand that everybody's financial things are difficult, and you might be somebody that's literally barely making it paycheck to paycheck. You can buy one game a year. I get it. And that sucks. You're right. I'm not talking about like this. It's just a kind of a blanket statement. For a majority of American adults that have, that are gainfully employed, what's the difference between like $300-$400 and like $1,000, especially like over a year, right? Like, I know you're spending it like right then, so you think about it like that, but like, think about it. Like, the Switch doesn't come out till June, and if you had access to credit, let's just say for a year, you could float that cost for a year and pay it off. Right? You could just come up with the money. What I'm saying is, and I mean, this is true statistically. This is true for a majority of American adults. Most of them can come up with $1,000 to blow on non-necessities, on luxury items. We do it all the time, and more so. We buy rings, we buy jewelry, we buy boats. Like, it's a little crazy to act like it's that up in the air. Even like the $80 games. I get it. I do feel bad for little Johnny. Like, if like we're all conditioned to think of the kids when it comes to Nintendo, which is something else to really reconsider with the Switch too. But you're sitting there thinking, like, if you're Jack, right? Little Jack, my boy, he goes, Dad, I want to Switch 2 for Christmas. Yeah, $700-$800 is a lot to fork up for Christmas. It really is. People do pay that and more for phones or iPads, but generally speaking, for a video game console, that's a lot. I get it. But it's also just very, very doable for a lot of people. So I do think the outrage is just kind of, I hate change. And I think social media has armed a lot of people with, if I just, all caps enough, people will hear me and change. And, I've already seen people like, there's a lot of people in the chat or posting, tweeting. I call it tweeting. I'm talking about Blue Sky. But when I've searched like Switch 2 or Switch 2 tariffs, a lot of people are like, hey, if we bully them, they'll change it. Like, that's kind of the expectation that social media has given people, that if we just keep to it, if our resolve is strong, they'll react. But in this case, I think the tariffs are stronger, and I think the reaction is not what you want it to be. But I do think there's a lot of outrage to there. But it did lead me to thinking to myself today in the Discord, we're having a really fun chat. What is that number? What's that number for people? I'd love to know the chat. Like, what's that number for you? Is there a number that you're like, as much as I want to, I'm out? Because I think there's maybe I think a slightly scarier outcome here, or at least a byproduct of this situation, that I don't think anybody really wants to address. but may have to happen. And what I'm telling you is if Nintendo comes back and they raise the price because of the tariff and it's really high, like $700. I'll even go high, $729.99. If they come back and it's $729, I think like the gamer sphere where everybody's having all these opinions and up in arms, and I think they would be shocked at how many would still sell. And I think that's a scary outcome because at that point you signal to everybody, it's like, yeah, we could have charged more the whole time. Like even before the tariffs, like we could have charged more because if the boat that I'm in, again, and I understand that everybody's finances are different, and some people it's just principle. They've got the money, but they just won't spend it. I respect it. I respect everybody. I'm not trying to. I don't want to make anybody feel bad about their situation at all. Guess what? Listen, and before I even say what I'm about to say, I've been there, man. I had to work 3 jobs all through the 2010s. Like not all through, some like 2008 to 2016. I was working 3 jobs. I had my main job. I was either in college or I had a nighttime weekend gig where I was a courier, like driving stuff all over the place. So I've been there. If you're burning the oil like that, dude, I get it. I've been there. It sucks, and I hope you get out of it in a better job one day. I did, and it was a godsend. But I've been there. But I was trying to think, like, what is that number? What is the number that stands between me and what I want, like, to do, like how I value my time and like my favorite things? What stands between me and playing those Zelda games is maybe like the best way I could put it. Like what's the number between me and being able to play those Zelda games that I want to play? And I'm telling you, the number's a lot higher than you think. And it's not because I've got the money, because I don't. But it's a lot higher than, like, I think my number is like, if it would, I think it would have to get into the 1,000, like 1,000 plus. And I actually think if push come to shove and I had to, I actually think I would do 1,000. And it's just, and like, I don't want to do it. I wouldn't be happy about it. I'd be super upset. But like, you know, I mean, for those who've listened to a long time, you guys know me. I would just start selling stuff. Like I would immediately like, well, it's time to raise some capital because this thing is crazy. But I'm not going to not do it because all this work that I do, all this work that we all do, like the whole point of living, all the responsibilities you have to do and the bills that you got to pay and you to drive to work every day. Like I do all of that because I enjoy like what few vices I'm allowed to have access to. And guess what one of them is? It's playing Nintendo games. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let Mr. Orange, Agent Orange, take that from me over a couple $100. Like absolutely not. Like almost out of spite, I won't allow that to happen. Even at my own detriment. 100% I would. Like absolutely not. I'm not giving him that kind of satisfaction. And I'm not going to miss out on Donkey Kong Bonanza or Zelda Breath of the Wild 4K 60. Absolutely not. All right, here as Sean joins the show. Welcome, my buddy, Sweet Hang, Sean Capri.
My camera is busted. I don't know what's going on with it.
It's all choppy.
I've been trying to fix it for the last.
Hey,
5
you're
minutes.
just south of midnight, Sean. That's good.
It's an artistic.
Yeah,
choice.
yeah, it's style choice. It's choice
I'm
style.
updating my graphics drivers. I don't know what's going to work. I've tried Chrome and Edge.
Have you tried using a different port?
No.
Every time I get issues with my camera, it's like an unplug, replug in situation, and like things kind of work.
Oh. Yeah, I never tried that yet. My graphics card drivers are updating as we speak. You might have noticed my color change there for a second.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is a distraction.
Well, I was just saying, I'm not sure if you've been listening or you could hear any of that. That the little thought exercise that I was having with the chat at the moment was, what is the number? Everybody's talking about how you couldn't spend $450 for a Switch and all that. It's crazy and it's astronomical and you won't do it. I'm just thinking, like, what is your actual number in your head where you really stop and you go, I can't. Like, I want to, but I just can't.
Yeah, and I'll link it to the games chat as well. Now, games, obviously, you're gonna purchase much more. You're gonna buy them ongoing. The console price, you just buy once. But I can't remember. Like, Amanda from the Nintendo Drive, she copy and pasted some like AI like summarization of what fans were thinking of Nintendo Switch 2 and the pricing and all this stuff. And there's one sentence in what the AI brought to the table, which was fans were outraged about games costing $10 more than they used to. And I'm like, golly, like that really is it, isn't it? All this outrage
Kind of puts it in perspective.
$10.
I really think the outrage is the software. It's the game price, and I think the Nintendo fans see it as 20, right? Because only Tears of the Kingdom was 70, so they see it as $20 increase.
Fair.
And the reason that it's upsetting is not because Mario Kart's $80. It's because you're thinking every game that I buy for this thing is $20 more, and that is a lot of money. That could be thousands of dollars, even for casual people. That could be a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I think that's the outrage. I honestly think if the games weren't changed, people would be like, it's more expensive than I thought, but I'm still going to get it because Mario Kart.
Well, and I can refine my sort of like, I guess, my messaging on this in that it's not like we should be rejoicing that.
Yeah, absolutely, we're not.
More.
And I'm not defending, I'm not trying to make Nintendo shareholders better off or raise their revenue. I could give a shit less about their revenues.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm just trying to be honest with myself. Like, I'm not sure if you heard, but like I was thinking about it today. I've been thinking about it all day. I think my number's probably like $1,200-$1,300, to be honest with you. Like,
for
if
everything?
if it got over $1,000,
oh wow, yeah,
I think I'd have to like reconsider maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the other thing. I'm trying to be honest with myself. I even thought to myself, I was like, let's say it came back with tariffs. I know it's a crazy, but let's say it's like, man, with the tariffs, it's like $1,200. Like, doesn't Brazil get like weird stuff like that? Like their imports are so expensive, it just gets crazy. Let's say it was like that. Let's go full tyranny. And it's just crazy. Jeez. I literally looked at myself and I was like, I'd just sell the PC.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would just sell the gaming PC and get the Switch. Like that's how much like Zelda games and Mario games, but really it's Zelda games. That's how much Zelda games mean to me. Like it's by far and away my favorite franchise, my favorite series. Mm-hmm. It's my favorite thing to do. And I just, man, be damned. I will not let something as trivial as money, again, changes for everybody, but I'm not going to let a couple $100 come between me and that.
Ultimately, that's where I'm at. And the funny thing is, it seems like time is moving in slow motion here because, and we're talking about it so much that I might even go like, I could use this, like, because I'm actually saving up cash. I was talking to you earlier tonight, I'm well over halfway to the Switch 2. I've sold a bunch of stuff today on Marketplace. It's been a good day for me.
I do want you to tell me about that, if you want to.
We can. I'll be judged for it, but that's okay. I'm letting some stuff go for less than I should.
Hey, I think everybody's letting some stuff go. I think everybody today is like, wait a minute.
But I guess where I'm going with this is I don't know if everybody buys stuff like this. It's important for me to pay cash for stuff. I don't want to put this on my credit card. I don't want to take out a loan for stuff. It's important for me to pay cash, especially with whatever. That's just decisions I've made. And so there's going to be a point where I'm going to be looking at my bank account and going, that's $1,000 I've saved for the Switch 2 in a game and a controller.
Yeah.
I could not put it towards the Switch 2. Like, that's $1,000. Like at a certain point, I'm going to look at some real money. Because I'm looking like right now. I'm looking at $500.
That's kind of what I'm alluding to. It's not that I dismiss anybody for not maybe, not having the money. Like I've been there and that sucks and I get it. But what I'm saying is for most adults, like gainfully employed adults, it's like anybody that's ever got a raise or negotiated a different salary, like everybody knows that like if my boss came to me and was like, I want to give you a raise, it's like $1,000, I'd be like, fucking thanks for nothing. It's like I won't. There'll be no change in my life at all for that. You has to get to a point where it's like, no. Actually, now I care. Actually matters. Like this is a significant. Like now I'm eating steak instead of pizza. Like this is better. I think we have to start thinking in that terms, or at least I'm not trying to. I feel like I'm so in my head, fucking Sean. I'm hearing myself talk, and I'm like debating in my head with myself.
That is my every single day.
Because I'm like in my head, I'm like, do I come off sounding like such a fucking apologist right now? Yeah. And I don't want to, but
it's just where you're at. It's just where you're at, man.
I think it's the different. Obviously, I think it's the difference between a consumer and a fan. I'm a fan,
Right. Yeah.
and the Nintendo Shack is for Nintendo fans. So
Yeah.
I think my message is amongst like the people it's meant for.
Yeah.
Now, if you're somebody that's just listening the first time because you did Switch 2 and you have a Steam Deck and you don't even have a Switch, you're probably like, this guy's a fucking dork for Nintendo. And guess what? You're right. Like, it's not an incorrect statement. But yeah,
It's
kind of
fun
what
for
I'm
me.
thinking.
We talked about this before because I was
I
on the
got a
opposite
message
side.
from Yarden.
What's up, Yarden?
Ooh.
Um,
Yeah, I can do that. Hang on, I gotta go
Oh.
find him. I
Oh.
don't know if are we friends on Discord? I always figure it's weird that we have to have like Discord friends to message, and isn't that weird?
yeah, most people. Yeah. I probably need to do a reboot to fix my camera, to be honest with you. I'm not sure that I exactly want to do that. Oh, snap. I just closed my camera settings and it fixed it.
There.
I closed the camera settings.
All you had to
Logitech,
do was
dude.
all you had to do is turn it
guys,
off.
Don't buy Logitech. God damn it.
I literally just bought a Logitech mouse.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Oh, Sean, you wanna know what? Check this out. You might appreciate this more than anybody, actually. Are you with me?
If it's your belly button, I will not. Oh, stand-up desk. Okay, we're going full Bobby now. Okay.
This is what I did today because of my back issues.
I like this very much.
Redid my desk. I rewired everything
Oh, that's the best.
to have the stand-up desk here at home.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Dude, well, now I'm realizing what people can see in my background.
I'm gonna keep going.
I wiped my ROG Ally.
going.
It's ready.
Dude, this is crazy. Sean, I'm right next to my ceiling fan. It's like right here.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a little dangerous.
I'm in the clouds. All
I
right,
got
tell
these
me, what are you
steelbooks.
doing?
I got these steel books. Somebody has noticed. I'll be getting $80 for these 4.
That's nice. Which one are they?
These are Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops, and Black Ops 2 for the 360.
That sounds like a lot for 3. Is it just? That sounds like a lot for Call of Duty games.
I agree.
Call of Duty games you get like a quarter for.
These
You know,
steelbooks,
like-
man, these steelbooks are. I feel like these steelbooks are real nice.
Oh, Dev says I'm
Especially the
interested in
Black
that
Ops.
sweater. You like the sweater, Dev? I'll come back down.
I'm more interested in the sweater.
Yeah, or is it Sean's sweater? I don't even know. I didn't even assume. Could be your
No,
sweater.
it's definitely your sweater.
But, like I was.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
This
I'm in
is
the mood
a
tonight.
Amazon Basics hoodie that I've fallen in love with. I wiped my ROG Ally today, though. It's ready.
We can talk about that if you want.
Whatever you want. No, I'm your guest. I'm whatever you want to talk about.
Well,
I've
it's
also
funny. It's
got
like now that
mini
you're
eggs.
here, like I feel like I don't even know where I left off. I don't even know where I was. I know where we were. We were talking about like what's our number and why it's so. Okay, hang on. I do want to touch that. I'm not sure if you heard this because here's what I said, dude. I think an unintended consequence of this situation that people don't want to hear or fathom is that if these tariffs are really high, but people buy the Switch anyway,
Yep.
what that means for gaming as a whole
everyone.
and moving forward.
That's exactly what I was saying to you at the 3.5, 4th hour of PSVG this week, the Shack takeover, is like it's real scary because like people can be mad about these prices, but we're all still aware that pre-orders, whenever they go live for you guys, they're still going to be live for Canada the day it's supposed to go up as of right now. Like that hasn't changed for us, and they're going to sell out, you guys. It's
Yeah,
going to be
they
hard
are.
to get. You know,
I wonder if the tariffs. I wonder if all this negative news makes like people feel even more opportunistic and like want to try and scalp them, thinking that they'll be in such demand.
I have a worst case scenario for you. I have something even worse, and it's going to make you throw up.
Oh,
What if all these tariffs make a couple billionaires build some factories in America and make
100%.
that orange mother trucker correct?
yeah. Hello.
Hey.
Oh,
It's first time around. Seth has joined the chat.
Hi. Good to see you both. Thanks
Yeah.
for doing this, Donnie. I appreciate it. I think this is what a lot of people like want to do. You know, just like talk this out.
Can we just talk
you
about
know?
this?
I came home and I was doing my desk, and you know me, Sean, when I get in my head like that, what do I start doing? I start cleaning, start rewiring. I was like, I need to talk. Like, I need to talk to somebody. I need to get it
Oh
out.
my gosh, yes. We do.
Look at Jace. They're multiplying.
You guys should see the side of my desk here, though. I've got all my
Got a whole
boxes,
bunch of
all
us
my
in here,
games.
man.
Jace is so fucking funny. Like, he really doesn't get like nearly enough credit for how funny that dude is.
He gets enough credit from me. I give him a
You
lot.
think?
Oh yeah.
But not globally. We need to add tariffs on the Jace credit.
On Jace
on the
stock.
Jace credit. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm like, oh man, they watch this thing put $600 or $700 and watch them just fly off shelves anyway, and what that means for PlayStation 6 and future games and GTA and Call of
crazy,
Duty.
man.
What does that mean for Call of Duty? Oh my god.
Call of Duty's a weird one. Like, I mean, I don't know that Game Pass really changes too much. Obviously, Warzone doesn't really. Like, it just continues to sell. Like, wasn't this last one the most
Yeah,
sales? Like,
Yeah.
and
so,
it
like,
really
nothing-
did. It sold exactly the same as it always did on PlayStation. Nothing really changed.
That's
I
nuts.
do wonder, like, obviously, you have to think that there's an opportunity right here should things get really crazy for Microsoft to clean up. Mm-hmm. Like, your domestic, you've got Game Pass. Like, yeah, like start drumming the
Holy
beat.
Shit, I didn't even think of that.
Like, why aren't you all over
Yeah,
it?
they're not assembling Xboxes in America.
No. I just imagine that because they haven't sold any for so long, they have a big stack of them somewhere.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's really funny.
Same with their competitors, right? Same. You got to imagine Steam Deck same way. Rogue
I imagine
Ally, same way.
PlayStation, because they've had them out for so long, they've probably been shipping them continually to America for a
Yeah.
minute. So they probably have a bunch. You know,
Yeah.
it's Nintendo that probably doesn't have a bunch yet, even though there were a lot of reports that they shipped a lot early.
Yeah.
But you know, that stock will go out day one. Like, they didn't ship that
Right.
many early. It'd be one thing if they had 50 million over here. It'd be like, well, maybe you can wait it out a year or two, but they definitely do not. So
Because then you'd have an Xbox, dude. You should
Then you'd
show
have
that.
an Xbox.
Put that video up, man. That is so
that clip was
funny.
so fucking
Oh my
funny.
god, it's
But
what I
then
think
you'd have an
arthritis would
Xbox.
feel like.
It's running on a granola bar. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. Oh. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. That's kind of anyway, I honestly think I've done it. I think I've said everything I had to say. What do you guys think? I've talked for literally almost an hour straight. Where's your heads at? Talk to me.
Okay, so I first of all, I appreciate you doing this, Donnie, because I was agreeing with a lot of what you were saying. I think that my price, like my top dollar, is probably higher than most people too. I'm probably pretty in on this, regardless of what they, unless it's like truly exorbitant, unless they're talking $1,300 or something
Yeah.
like that. You know
Then
what I
you're
mean?
like, oof, I'll wait a minute. I'll wait a
Right.
little, see if it comes down a
See
little
how
bit.
how the waters calm down a little bit. But it's also weird too, right? Because like we're sitting here chatting, you know, on the day that this all happens, and like everything feels so tumultuous to me that like who's to say that like, you know, this time next week it's not just psych. You know what I mean? Like
I'm scared on the opposite end. I'm scared that Nintendo comes out and goes, "Hey, we have to delay the launch in the States
well, yeah, that's a
for
total,
a minute."
That's a total
Like, just
possibility.
in you know, what is the word? Indefinitely.
Right, indefinitely.
I couldn't blame them if they're like, "Hey, we gotta figure this out and let some of this play out first."
Well,
You
or,
know,
like, yeah,
instead of
or-
lose billions of dollars.
Totally. Or if they're going to say like, hey, a lot of that stock that was going to America, we're going to take it to other places instead right now because it makes more sense for us to do that right now.
We'll make more money,
Yeah. Like they'd be kind of smart to do that at this point, right? So like
especially early, because America's their biggest market. It's where they make their bank, but they have enough. There's enough people outside of America to probably float them for like a year.
Yeah, for the
Right, a year or two
opening.
before you really start to. Now we really need that market, though.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so it's obviously it's complicated. You know, we were having in the carpool gaming community, there was a lot of conversation this morning. I don't want to like out anybody, but like, you know,
I
people
will.
were talking. Well,
There it is. We don't do that here, Seth. Listen here, D Life.
Well, I
no,
want to
it
see.
was-
I want to see who it is. I don't even know what
Well,
happened.
no, it was a conversation. It was a person in the community who was talking about how they have to. They're having like real conversations, like with their family, and they're saying like, "Hey, like I don't know if we can afford this," you know, like literally, and like they're talking about how their kid all of a sudden is like, you know, getting super invested in tariffs and things like this. It's like, man, this is such a bad
so sad.
conversation to
Right.
have with my child. You know what I mean?
Goodness gracious.
And like that to me, I'm like, man, these are the people that are going to be affected, I think, the most by stuff like this is people who have to have like these conversations. And to Nintendo's credit, and something that I don't think that is getting publicized enough, like they are doing some consumer friendly moves, things like how your Joy-Con, your Pro controller can still work with it, and things like this. You know, there is stuff like that.
I mean, back compatibility just in general.
Totally, like those are some pretty consumer friendly moves.
It
Actually,
could have just been
so-
like, nah, DX versions of the games. I bet they're thinking that right now. Like, damn it.
Yeah, totally. They could have gotten away with that, and even like the pricing model of the upgrades, I think are a lot more fair than people are giving them credit for. You know, like $10 to $20 for these, I think is totally fine and justified. You know, and I think people are
You
also
just can't
for
call
all-
them upgrades. They should call them DLC packs. Like that. Like it's so funny. It's all semantics. Because I was
Yeah.
tripping up over that a little bit earlier today. Like because some are upgrades in terms of graphics, and some are upgrades with content.
Yeah.
and
It's
it's
The
like that's
content, like
plus.
the expansions, you're getting
right
modes and
expansion.
stuff.
Like you need different words, and it like that
Yeah.
might be stupid, but that matters. Like it
Yeah.
triggers a certain
Yeah, I don't.
value.
People are not nearly as caught up with Kirby at $80, and that blows my mind because Kirby's routinely a cheap game, and every time I've brought it up, because Kirby caught me off guard at $80, I was like, wow, that's a lot for a Kirby
Yeah.
game. Everybody I've said that to goes, yeah, but it has an expansion in it, and like in
Yeah.
my head, I'm like, but I've played that game. I'm sure it's not nearly as big as you're thinking it is. You know, this isn't like Ragnarok for Assassin's Creed. It's not going to be like a whole game or something. But honestly, a lot more people have taken that in stride than Mario Kart, and that blows my mind.
right.
People are seriously mad that Mario Kart's $80, but they don't seem to care that Kirby's $80.
Well, they seem
People
to,
pay $25 for Fortnite skins, so I don't know how to talk about
Totally.
this shit, man.
Right.
You know, like I don't
Yeah.
know what
Not
to
just
say.
people, a lot of people.
like everyone.
A lot of people.
you know?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like with the pay so their character can do a stupid dance. What is the other thing that Fortnite pays?
No,
Somebody
Call
just
of
told
Duty
me-
had loading screens. That's what you're
Loading
about.
Yeah,
screens.
loading
Mm-hmm.
screens.
Fortnite
Yeah.
has I was like, no, they are not charging us for loading screens. We have lost the plot. What
They're
the
laughing
fuck
at our faces,
is,
man. They're
Listen,
laughing at our faces.
actually,
and we wonder.
This whole podcast could have been summed up in 1 minute if we had started and you told me that people charge for loading screens. I don't want to hear anybody bitch
I don't
about
hear a
what any
goddamn
video
thing.
game costs if you're out here buying a fucking load screen.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
insanity.
Yep. The conversation has to start with that. It's like a decision tree. It's like, do you pay
Have
for a
you
loading
ever
screen, yes or no?
purchased a
Yeah.
load screen skin?
Yeah. If yes,
Get out.
go fuck yourself.
Turn in your video game. You're no longer allowed here.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny too because for everybody that is so sold on this idea that every game is going to be $80 from now on because Mario Kart is, I feel like nobody's looking at something like Donkey Kong, which is $70, and it is priced just like everything else.
I'm scared, actually, Seth. I think everything's going to be $80 because
Do you?
because it's not because Mario Kart is. It's because Mario Party and, and Kirby is.
And
Like,
Kirby is.
I'm like, if they think they can get 80 for Kirby, we are full. Next Smash game's gonna be $120.
Yeah, they put themselves in a weird position with that too, right? Because they have to have like an upgrade path for people that already have the game, knowing that people are just going to buy the thing used and then pay the 10 or 20 bucks or whatever to upgrade it. So they
Yeah.
could do that too, and that's totally
Yeah.
viable. But then so the price that Nintendo still has those games at is $60. Is, whatever. So for them, they're just tacking on the number onto the number that they already have in their head.
They only
Yeah.
keep the prices at that price point if people are buying them at that price point, though.
Yeah, then they would drop it. If nobody
And that
bought
is
Mario
where the
Kart,
mob
they would drop
mentality
it.
kind of comes in, right? If
Right.
enough
Yeah.
people boycott it, like maybe they can make a difference. I don't know.
Yarden says to compare, Last of Us
It
2
won't.
Remastered just released for $50.
That
I have
seems
no
good.
problem. I have no problem with remasters, and I mean that's the Steam release too. It's not what the PlayStation
Sure.
one wasn't 50. I don't think. I do think it's interesting because Nintendo just exceeded Kirby costs more than whatever the latest Ghost of Yote will cost.
Yeah.
Kirby does. Kirby is more than Ghost of Yote, and I think that puts Nintendo in another tough spot, because for a lot of gamers, especially the non-Nintendo gamers, they don't value Nintendo software nearly at that AAA blockbuster, photorealism boutique level that PlayStation does. And here Nintendo is like, yeah, and ours costs more. Mario Kart's 1440p, and it costs more than the last one. You'll pay us more for it.
Yep. That's Apple.
Yeah.
Those cameras on iPhones are unacceptable.
Yeah.
And those phones cost a lot.
I mean, the Lightning port. They're like, nah.
I mean, you could go on.
We got our own cable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to use our own cable.
So if I think I can go very passionate about this and very irrational, very gamer centric, and that's
Give me Ric
basically
Flair,
where
Sean.
I'm sitting right now. What's that?
Give me 2 woos and a Ric Flair. Like, let it go.
I mean, I could. So I think I have, in that, like, I've talked about how, like, I'm buying this thing day one. I'm barely calculating anything. Okay, like, I'm just buying this thing. I've already decided I'm selling a bunch of stuff. Like,
You're selling. He's just.
Okay.
I'm almost there. I think the moment it goes 600 or more, I got to start selling some.
So-
like, now the
Me
Steam
too.
Deck actually comes into. I'm like, all right, now let's liquidate.
This is the thing. So as time goes on, and with every day that passes, and the more time I have to think about this, I will start crunching some numbers, and I'll start thinking about day one means Mario Kart, and that might be it.
I will. Yeah, I definitely will start pinching. Like, maybe I don't get
Yeah.
Cyberpunk at launch.
Sorry, I want to be more clear of what I'm talking about. Because I was really hard on the Switch after the January 2017 reveal.
Yeah.
And Bobby and Toby are freaking out. They're like, I can't wait to buy this thing. I'm like, they showed you a clip of a Zelda game. Like, that's what and 1-2 Switch and a whole bunch of other nonsense. I'm like, that won you guys over? And they're like, yes, of course. And they didn't understand it. And
Definitely
I think
Zelda.
I'm there where they were. And other people might be looking at some of us going like, what are you guys so excited about? There's a case to be made for some people who aren't Nintendo fanboys like us to go, what are you guys so excited
Yeah,
about?
why are you doing this?
Why
don't
are you
have
willing to
You
pay
can do
whatever
this
you're
other
willing
thing.
to pay for this? Because all you're getting on day one is Mario Kart. Like, why can't you just wait? Like, why are you tripping over yourself? And so if I think too much about that, then yeah, I might go, I could pause on this. Like, there's a side of me, very logical side, that looks at what they're offering and goes, have they done enough?
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, the tech is very impressive. I think it was Dev who said it might be the most impressive console
that's
to
going
ever be
around.
built, which is nuts.
Yeah, you hear that? Suck it, Rob 3K. My handheld's better than yours.
It might be so, like, and I'm not saying one way or another, but like, I can flip flop on this issue.
I'm not. I can't.
Right?
I think
Well,
they've,
you're
yeah, I
close to the
think they've
Nintendo
done more
shack.
than enough. And here's
the
the
hype.
funny thing. I won't even play Mario Kart on day one.
Yeah, we're playing Mario Strikers, right? Guys?
I'm playing Breath of the Wild.
I mean, that's so.
I'm-
then I get back
I'm
on
running-
that side. But I'm
I'm-
like, I saw those
I'm-
upgrades, man. It looks
I'm
so
running
good.
off that plateau. I'm opening up my smart glass. I'm sending myself a recipe.
Yeah.
I'm doing that on day one.
Yeah.
Something I already have, something I can already buy, and literally like Mario Kart couldn't even be there, and I'm still all in.
Yeah.
So, I'm not there. I get what you're
kids can't
saying.
stop
I agree
talking
with
about it.
you.
No,
and I know
I'm-
people
I'm
do that
kind of just,
math.
like, going like on both sides.
Yeah,
Like, there's
people
gonna
are
be
doing
some
that
people in
math.
one
The
camp
math
versus
that I'm
another.
doing is based on how much the price goes. Maybe I don't get Cyberpunk on day one.
Right.
Maybe I don't get. I'm definitely going to get Nintendo Welcome Tour. Like, got it. Like, that's the goat. Definitely getting that.
Of course. Yeah.
But
I
you know,
had a Wii U on day one. I'm not.
maybe
missing
I
this day
don't.
one.
Maybe I don't grab an extra third party. Maybe I don't get Madden. Maybe
Right,
like
sure.
it's more of those. I'm doing those decisions. The same decision. Maybe I don't get a pro controller.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't get a camera.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, the camera. Could they put the camera in the box? Just fucking go Microsoft. It's $600. You get the camera.
Actually, it doesn't work without the camera.
Right.
Yeah, it's a
They
connection.
just double down on it. You have to have
Can
it.
you imagine? Can you
You have to have
the
it.
entire thing. Yeah.
No,
And they
here's
get
the
away with
funny
it.
part about that. That's the funny part is you're like, can they imagine? And then watch it sell even
Yeah,
more.
then it works.
People are like, I
And-
love the camera.
and
Sean's like, I hate you all.
you know what? And Nintendo has a fantasy football app that they're gonna let you follow your favorite fantasy football. Oh my god.
Yeah, Yeah,
I like to hear
like-
about Yarden's game buying habits.
Yeah.
Oh, his game
I'm a
buying habits?
big fan of Fallout. Yarden needs some sort of blog or something like that.
www.yardensthoughts.blog.edu.com. Yeah.
Yeah, get him a pod. Get him on.
I want Cyberpunk. I really do, but I mean, there's always a price.
Yeah.
There's a price for everything. I can't get everything, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to get Cyberpunk. I'm hoping it's not gonna be too much. But I was gonna say is one of the other things that I think they could do is moving forward. Maybe they'd try to include more of those game key cards. Like maybe that's another way they can find costs. I think a big part of those things is that like people can flash them probably much faster. They probably cost a lot
is
less.
that right?
They don't have as much storage, right? Because it's just a license, so
Yeah.
they're cheaper to manufacture. So I'm like, maybe Nintendo goes that way. They're like, hey, we know this sucks, but we could make $20 more per copy sold if we do a game key card than a cartridge. You know,
How much is an OLED Switch in the U.S.? How much? Like what are
$49.99,
how much?
$350.
So we're going from
$350.
$350 to $450
Yeah,
for next gen.
Yep.
yeah, it seems
Okay.
pretty good.
Another
For
thought:
that.
can they find ways to extract more money out of the Switch to help offset?
They have been for the last
I know,
five and a half
but
years.
maybe they do more cross-gen. Maybe they find more releases, more ports. Maybe they cut sales, like cut price. Like maybe they try to sell more hardware,
I
put
think
more focus on it.
the Nintendo Direct that came before the Switch 2 Direct is exactly what you're talking about. And I've talked about this too. Like they're blending the generations really nicely. Like they've got tons of games still coming to Switch. They're gonna
Yeah.
be great. Like they've hedged their bets and still gone balls out with this new console. Somehow they've done both. Like I
now.
don't. When I watch the
moment.
Switch 2 Direct, I don't see them holding back. And at the same time, we watched the Direct the week before, and it's like there's so many games coming out, you guys.
There's still
It's
stuff
crazy.
coming. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
Captain
kind of how
Awesome.
they got out of the 3DS.
Chat's got you. All those are right. It's sorry. I was just want to get that in there for chat because people are talking. Sorry to interrupt you.
No. Who is it? What?
Oh, sorry. Captain Awesome says, "Do we know how Cyberpunk runs on Switch?" We're talking about Cyberpunk, but
Oh, okay.
the chat's got them. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
40, 30
yeah, 40.
FPS, 1080. It's fine. Looks good. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was done.
Yeah, no, that'll be great. Do you guys think they'll do something like because I was thinking about this too, Donnie. You'd mentioned like like what can they do to kind of sweeten the pot if they do raise the price, even if they put in like NSO in there, like they do that all
Yeah,
the time.
we thought about that. If you did a
right?
year of NSO for free, like how
They
much
do that all the
value
time.
does that add to? And that's nothing. That costs them nothing to do.
Nothing. Yeah,
know.
that costs them nothing. I was thinking about something like that. I think that could be kind of interesting, and it gets people into the ecosystem. It gets you used to it.
They're already giving away the camera app for a year
Right.
anyway.
Right.
So it's like you're really not really giving anybody anything except for like they can play Mario World.
Yeah.
So-
I
It's a great
don't
deal.
see Nintendo doing anything until like a month after this thing launches, like the console launches. I think they just
raise
hold
the price
steady.
and eat it. So I was
so.
thinking, what do you think? Do you think they will just add to the console, or do you think they'll try to smooth it out across everything?
like in terms of like what they'll put in the box.
Yeah. So like, let's say their loss on the console sold with the tariff is like
right.
$150 a unit. Do they just add $150 to the console and pass that cost that way, or do they add $50 to the console or $75 to the console and try to get the other $50 or $75 back elsewhere?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are just doing the math. They're like 46%,
Right.
Vietnam, it equals
so
657. Like that's not really how the math doesn't have to go down like that. Nintendo could literally
Right.
keep the price and just find other ways. Like I would expect NSO memberships to go up. I would expect I was thinking like even with the $80 games, we have seen that they do have prices at 70 and 60. Like maybe going forward, if they have a game that they're thinking at 50 or 60, maybe it's 80. They'd be like, hey, we just got to, like they can make changes all around and kind of try to get 10% from everybody, like on everything
Possible.
versus adding 50% to one thing.
Yeah, I could see that. It's also possible that they almost certainly when they priced this thing initially had a little bit of foresight.
100%,
And they probably
yeah.
did jack it up a little bit. So I don't think it's going to be like as big a bite as maybe like I'm seeing people throw around some crazy estimates of what they'll like
Yeah.
price this thing out. Like, you better
Yeah.
be prepared for this to be $800. I'm like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean?
I was thinking $30 to $50 on both sides.
Yeah, I was like, my ceiling is, I mean, I don't know, but obviously, but like, I'm like 50 to 100 is probably, I don't think 100
Like 50 is
like,
the even
feels like a
number, but
ceiling.
like they like, like $479.99,
Right. Not out of the question.
$529.99. Like it's not really changing it a whole lot. And you kind of both do it. It's like, so
Yeah.
we'll do this but we'll plan to raise NSO and like we all kind of take a piece of the buy.
Yeah, I mean, like assume that they were planning for whatever 25% or something
Yeah.
like that, and then actually it's like 46% or whatever. So then you just bump it up a little bit more from your estimate.
It's so crazy.
It's wild,
It's so crazy, man. It's
Unprecedented.
because it's a double whammy.
unprecedented.
Well, because this must be like the most expensive Nintendo console we've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we've
It
got
already
that
was.
and Terry. You were already mad. You
Yes.
already had some cause for concern, and then this other thing comes along. It's like, golly, sucks.
I'm not sure if you guys were here from the beginning, but I would like your opinions before. I do want Sean to tell us about his sales and his ally, but I was saying earlier, honestly, I started the show this way because I find it to be the most astounding thing that's happened so fast is how fast Nintendo has lost control of the story.
Yeah,
Like we really buried the lead, but like it was late at night. It was the first night, so like I don't think it had really gotten like the fire hadn't really got started. Treehouse got the fire started.
Oh
but
my
like
god.
we went from Switch 1 to like Tuesday night. We all went to bed thinking Switch 2 was like the easiest dunk in the universe. They're going to show up. They're going to show us a Mario game. They'll show us a thing. It's going to cost between $350 and $500, and everybody's going to buy it. We've gone from that to every story, media, social post about how awful it is, how they need to drop the price, tariffs, delays. The message has been just completely shattered. There's confusion everywhere.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how much games cost. People think they cost 90, they're 70, they're 70 if you buy them digitally, but only in Germany. And this got way out of hand Nintendo, who is always so precise and controlling of their messaging and their marketing and their IP. Like I don't know what's going on over at Nintendo HQ, but I can't imagine, like it
on
can't
fire.
be really good.
If I ran
Yeah.
Nintendo, if I could,
Ooh,
I'm hyper aware of two major dates that are coming up. Like you look at the things that you know, and one thing they've actually already kind of tackled. The first beat is when pre-orders go up, which was supposed to be April 9th. They've removed that from the equation for now.
Yep.
So that's them trying to take back a little about that control. Is they can't let whatever this uncertainty is play too much or impact too much the April 9th pre-order. So it's like, take that out of the equation. We're going to see how it goes for the rest of the world. And then if I'm Nintendo, I'm counting on the flippant nature of the internet and how quickly these cycles tend to go away. Because there's just enough time maybe for all this to settle by the time June 5th rolls around.
I think
And
you're
it
right.
actually launches, because that's another very important day, but
Yeah.
that's still a ways away.
especially
And
if
so a lot
tariffs are
can happen
enacted
between now
and you
then.
start finding higher prices everywhere else.
Yeah, this is like a wildfire, you know? You just
Yeah.
got to start pouring water on this thing, and hopefully we'll get some rain, hopefully weather will help us out, so to speak. And
I need
so
another big scandal to help them out right now.
totally,
Sweep
like
them
something's got to distract us. Right now we're hyper focused, and the chat in the treehouse was 2
It's
days
crazy.
straight.
I felt
Yeah.
so bad. Like, did you guys? I felt bad for them. Like I'm not upset
You could
that
see
people.
it in them, I think.
Like I'm not upset that people are letting their voice be heard. I like that. Do that. I just feel like maybe a better target. Like it's not. Nobody on that stream had anything to
know.
do with this.
Right.
The company's knowing and you're ruining their YouTube video, but like they're not doing this because they're evil and out of spite, as we've seen. I think that's
Yeah.
been proven. Right? So it's like maybe direct that energy towards somebody that can do something about it. But
Yeah, Reggie.
Yeah.
and I don't know. I even feel bad even saying that. Like, I like that people are like, hey, screw this. I don't want to pay $80 for Mario Kart. Like, I like that energy. Yeah, let them know. Right? I don't mind. I'm going to pay $80 for Mario Kart. But if you feel that way, that is your right to do so. But
Yep.
damn if it sucks seeing their faces.
We'll pay 70
And
and
is
then
it-
you lay everybody off. Then we'll be mad about that.
That's true too.
Yeah.
It's that's the thing too, is I think what a lot of people need to do, we're seeing so much like passion, emotion, reactionary takes and stuff. I think what people need to do is to have like the conversation with themselves about, well, what makes sense to me? What is my top dollar? Where are the cuts that I need to make if this thing does wind up being more expensive? Like, just stop and think about it for a
Think
second.
about it.
Just stop and
Yeah,
actually
man,
just think
that's going to be
about
even harder to make when everything else in people's lives also start to go up.
it. Totally.
Yeah.
You know, that's really
Yeah.
going to push and stress those luxury purchases. Like, I don't know.
And I get it, dude. I completely get it. You know?
Eggs, strawberries, soda, shit's expensive.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've been around for a long time. We have seen video games become
Riley
so
gets
ubiquitous. We've seen like everyone gets into video games. Like it's a massive, massive industry, and it kind of got that way, arguably, because it got so affordable. And so maybe it just got so affordable to the point it's like that wasn't sustainable in and of itself. Yeah, I know. We can't be thinking.
Yeah, right.
So this is like, to me, I guess it's like cyclical in a way. Just a really, really long season. We've had a really long season of very exceptionally affordable video games. But like the three of us, we've all been at the point where video games were not nearly as accessible as they have been for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
In the 90s, dude, not a chance. And again, we kind of referenced this on the Shack earlier this week, 1 or 2 games a year. Birthdays and Christmas, and that was it. That's how inaccessible it was. Like, you kind of had to count on mom and grandma getting you a game for Christmas, and that was basically it. We got to that point to like 50 games releasing every single week and vying for our attention, demanding our dollars, and we've been able to kind of keep up. Steam sales go up, but we get to buy 5-10 games at a time. Humble Bundle is a thing. We get these packages of games. We have these subscriptions where now we have access to like 50 games. Like, we've been in abundance for so long that maybe that's the thing that's going to burst here. It's not the crash of the Atari days, but it's a different kind of limit.
It just feels awful because we know what that means. If we're all buying less games, it means less games are made,
100%.
more people are getting laid off, more
It's a
studios
whole
are going
economy
away.
in and
whole
of
thing.
itself. And these are leading indicators on what happens
Yeah.
afterwards. And it's crazy. And that's the scary thing. That's the most understandable part about the outrage is deep down there's a big fear en masse.
Sure.
Across
be.
millions of
Definitely
people,
so.
there's big fear. And that's really all it is. That explains very quickly 2 full days of Treehouse nonstop messaging drop the price. Like, because that sounds, when you just look at it, it looks insane. And it looks immature, and it looks all these different things. But as soon as you go like, oh, people are scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. I heard a quote somewhere. I don't remember if it was from a movie or a game or something, but the quote was, "Anger is just fear in a leather jacket." And I think about that all the time, and that's exactly what that reads to me. It's like, dude, of course people are scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Another
Maybe
thought I
they thought
just
about
had.
this more than we
Do you
imagined.
think Nintendo maybe goes a little bit more digital to maybe recoup some of these things? Maybe they
I-
don't have as many retail releases.
So maybe this is the arrogant thing that people are also scared when companies turn this way. I don't think Nintendo is shaken much by this.
Like
I think
internally.
they're gonna sell like crazy, and they're just gonna be like, oh, we had
I
nothing.
think
to
they
worry about.
will. I think they will initially. I do think these days might be remembered for the Switch 2 throughout.
Sure.
It's gonna go one of two ways, and you know what? Actually,
Like,
as
it's
I say
possible
that,
they could come back, but like if this thing sells 30 or 40 million less than the last one, I think a lot of people might point to this day.
dude, I was just thinking the last time I saw people this mad is actually Xbox. This feels very familiar to like
It
Xbox.
does. It's exactly
and,
what
like,
I'm
all
feeling.
of video games turning on a
When they were like,
360
no
to
more
Xbox
used
One.
games, everybody was like, fuck you.
Yeah,
That's
we don't-
exactly what
we
it
don't care
feels
how
like.
fun the last generation was. This sucks, and we're going
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Lost
yeah.
all that cash.
That's exactly what it feels like. I'm seeing like with my Reddit threads.
Yeah, yeah,
Dude, every comment, there's people in other people's like commenting like, don't buy a Switch. You know, like don't even give them the satisfaction. Like that's
Yeah.
not good.
yeah. It just depends. I guess where my disbelief comes from is like we've heard it. I've seen it go both ways. You see a lot of
We've heard it
noise
with
and then,
Pokemon.
like, exactly. Yeah.
It's just this. I feel like this feels a bit more serious though.
It
Maybe that's
it
just
might-
me, but
yeah,
it feels a bit
yeah,
more serious than Pokemon. Like this
yeah,
is for
it
real.
might. Mm-hmm.
And what and I expect that we're going to hear from them again with bad news. Like you'd think with where they are, like they'll come back, they'll adjust, it'll be good news, and we'll get back on track. They're about to come back with even worse news. Everybody's like, drop the price, drop the price. They were like, welp, about that.
Yeah.
The price is changing. Just not in the manner that
We
you're
dropped
hoping.
it, but then it bounced up off the ground.
Yeah,
and
like
flew
it's
up higher.
it's-
Went on, but
it's
we
like a
dropped it onto a
super
trampoline.
Super
our
flex
hands.
ball, man. That is a super bounce ball.
We dropped it, but there was flubber on it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Man.
Well,
I
buy day one before it goes up. You know.
I so badly want to pre-order. Like we were in the chat talking about this. I'm sure you guys were, and people were like, "Oh man, what if it's this? What if?" I was like, "I would pay $7.99 if I can pre-order right now." Like if you will lock me in and guarantee June 5th
it's
to
like
me,
a-
I would give you $800.
Mortgage rate. Just get me
It's like
fixed. Get me locked in.
let me lock in now. I will eat the cost now to for that for that certainty.
Oh my god, dude. That's
Because I think we could be looking at a lot of people maybe not being able to get one.
Yeah.
And this sucks. And as Jay said earlier, it's somewhere in the chat I saw, I think I scrolled by it, and he goes, and all that anybody's talking about is the price. It sucks that like nobody knows how awesome the Switch 2 is because it's all been drowned out.
That was my big point that I don't need to revisit. Now, I want to shift to, well, just for a quick point to Xbox. Xbox, you've seen change their strategy 15 times in the last 14 months or whatever it's been. And it's like, because they look at Nintendo and PlayStation as being impervious to the criticisms and everything else that Xbox has been subject to, what do they think now? You know, like, oh, Nintendo is maybe people can turn on them. And it's like Xbox didn't have to lose their entire identity because they thought they couldn't catch Nintendo or PlayStation. Like sometimes these things just happen in cycles.
I
In
love
terms
that you
of
said
popularity.
that. You've probably heard me bring it up a few times. One of the reasons that I've like turned on Xbox so much is that like it felt like they couldn't be bothered to like weather the storm for like a
That's what I'm
generation.
saying. Like, if
Right.
they just weathered the storm, this would have happened.
It's like these companies have all been there in one way or another with a
Right.
Vita or a PSP or a Wii U. Like these companies have all struggled with something. And the difference is Nintendo goes and PlayStation goes, "No, this is what we do and here's how we do it." And that either that confidence or at least that consistency translates to the consumer. We know what to expect from them, and as long as they kind of keep doing it, you kind of keep doing it. It's like you don't like it now, your Wii U days, but you might just be right there for your Switch era if you would just like believe in what you're doing.
You know what though? It's always about the games. It's always about the games. And when like Switch 2 is launching, and it could be argued that it's not launching with enough games. And Xbox would be right now really well positioned to talk about video games. They've
Yeah,
been
a lot
talking
of them.
about 15,000 different things that like they can't get any traction on any of their messaging. So it's like, golly, if you guys just like stuck to your guns with your video games that you now publish more than
Good time to
anybody
drop
else.
a bunch of Activision titles into Game Pass,
That's
right?
what I
Like
mean,
one of
like,
those
if they
Call of
just
Duties and stuff.
stayed the
It'd be a great
course.
time to be like, we have 50 new games for you to play over here.
So now Nintendo's in maybe a little bit of trouble, a little bit of hot water, right? And then I don't know if PlayStation people really want to admit it, but like first party output over there is kind of looking like what Xbox One first party output was
been
looking
terrible
like
for a
over there.
long
It's
time.
not
Yeah.
great.
Oh, I don't terrible. Like it's good when they do release. What they release is good.
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah,
not a
what they
lot of
release
it.
is good.
The
Right.
pace or the output. What is the right word? The quantity of output maybe is terrible.
Yeah, the cadence, like it's just.
Yeah.
I would love to see those things. Like
Yeah, we're getting
lined
like
up,
one game a year.
We'll get
People are pretty-
a Naughty Dog game this entire generation.
100%, and people are
Well-
pretty loud and vocal about that. So what I'm trying to say
They are
is
still buying exclusives and
everyone,
stuff.
all three of them are fallible. They all have
Right.
possibilities to make mistakes and.
I started this show with that. These tariffs are going to impact them and Xbox.
That's so
Absolutely.
true. Yeah.
So it's not.
gonna
I
impact
do.
everybody.
Switch is taking the brunt of this. Like this is a Switch 2 problem. It's not.
Right. Yeah.
That's just down
This
to
is-
timing. Yeah.
This is like even the games that you get printed on will be affected by this.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
it all. If you don't think it's going to happen, it will. If these all stay in place, everything is about to get more expensive.
It's funny that the tariffs on your like the tariff is a war on your physical gaming, really. Like it doesn't
100%.
really, it shouldn't really impact digital, other than if a physical game costs more, there will be some form of parity on the digital storefronts.
Yeah,
So
they
if
don't
at
wanna-
Walmart you go and the games are tariffed
Yeah.
and they
That's
cost
it.
$110, there will be some sort of like equal level
Yeah.
pricing on a digital
That's just
storefront.
it. Yeah.
Which sucks because like that.
I just think you mean you print less. Maybe you don't do as many runs. Maybe you do a digital only game, a digital only release, so you can own more of that cut. So
Yeah.
you're not cutting in anybody else, losing money to shipping, losing money to printing.
Yeah.
That's one way that they can cut cost. I mean, heaven forbid they do layoffs. The share price gets enough, they might.
Yeah.
You might be seeing,
thing is, you drop
executives
quantity,
take
that
less
that
salary
drives the
before.
price up. You have fewer quantities. That's supply and demand.
Yep.
You know?
I love this actually. I think Yarden, I'm not sure if he did this as a joke, but he says they need to do the Xbox financing payment thing. That's not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. No.
Like if Nintendo was like, hey, we're working with a firm or somebody and we're going to have 0% interest on 24-month Switches because of the tariffs, like that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that would work for people. They could
Help
get people
smooth
to
out
do
the
it.
cost,
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we know this
thought about
sucks. We
that.
don't want you to have to do this either. It's $650 or $25 a month for a couple years. I don't know if that math works out. I have no.
Yeah,
I
whatever
just
whatever
I just
works
pulled
out
a
for you.
number, whatever that is.
I can't see says PlayStation made a bad move by dropping their big games early in the gen. Honestly, that's the thing that is saving them for the rest of the gen. Is that they had such a strong start and they really snuffed out Xbox. It wasn't a mistake. They had.
I think I would say I think Xbox made a bad move by dropping so many of their games before they launched the gen. The year before Xbox Series came out had a shit ton of games.
5,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
It's like 7 games. They had so many games, and then this console comes and they delayed all the games. It's like you guys would have been really nice to have just eaten it that last year and then
Yep,
keep that
like the
console
Wii U.
off in a big way.
DoorDash does that for dinner. Is that true?
That's
like
nuts.
payment?
We financing nuggets?
Is that true? Is that real?
No.
$3 a
No.
month so I can pay off my nuts.
This is capitalism, man. Is there anybody out there that kind of feels like me? Like I'm almost like spiteful now. I'm
am
like, you know
too.
what? Fuck it. I'm not giving. No. Mr. Orange is not doing this to me.
Nope,
Like
I'm
I will
paying
not
myself,
allow this to
goddammit.
happen.
You're
I
not-
don't care if I
totally.
shave my own taxes to recuperate the costs. Like this is not happening.
Yeah.
Fuck
No,
this guy.
I have the exact same feeling. I'm like, it feels like a rebellious thing. Like, okay. Like,
Yeah,
let's see who
exactly.
charges First.
That's exactly. It's like, yeah, I got the money to do this. F this noise. I'm going to show Nintendo just why America's great. Like you watch me.
Yeah, I have that kind of feeling too.
Nintendo's like, we don't even need to drop the price. These people just pay this much anyway. Like if that's what it takes.
Wait for it. It's one of 3 scenarios. It's possible. Very possible.
Yeah, it's very likely.
People just pay it anyway.
Let me ask you this. Would you even mind it?
I don't know.
Because here's the thing. Seth, forgive me. I have no idea of like your long-standing gaming habits.
Sure.
Do you have a gaming PC?
Nah, I wouldn't call it a gaming PC.
Okay.
It's like fine.
So
Yeah.
Sean and I, we both have gaming PCs. So we both will pay a lot for a
Right.
lot in return.
Yeah.
So if we were to signal to Nintendo like, hey, we're in for a $700 Nintendo, think about what a $700 Nintendo could be.
Sure.
I don't hate that idea. I kind of don't.
Yeah, if they built it to that price rather
They
than it
souped
being
it up.
inflated.
Even
for
if not that
factory.
price, but just what a $700 Nintendo Switch could be.
It's scary, man. Well, sticking with PCs, like
Have more than 2
there's-
hours of battery life, that's for sure.
How many generations have we had of GPU shortages? And I think that has ballooned the prices, like the real price
Oh, yeah.
of GPUs, where it's like, oh, well, people will pay this inflated price when shortages happen and stuff, and that signals to AMD and Nvidia, we could sell these things for $1,200. We could sell
Jack
these
it
things
up.
for whatever the numbers are, and so that can be a little bit.
Steam
scary
Decks
as
are
well.
$600-700. ROG Allies are $800. Why not? Why not us?
Well, I really want a new GPU in my computer, and I can't. I cannot justify. I am holding.
What is that? That's like 4 Mario Karts. You got that? It's like
It's
4
not
Mario
4
Kart
Mario
World
Karts.
Shot.
It's like
more than
14 Mario Karts.
Yeah, I know. I know.
It's,
If you guys didn't hear, that's
nuts.
my whole thing. That's my whole thing since Wednesday. Is everything in my life is being equated to Mario Kart Worlds.
How many
Big
Mario
time.
Karts is it?
Yeah.
What's that?
How many Mario Karts is it?
Well, I'm looking around. Like, how many more?
Did you guys
consoles do I
see?
have left over?
Did you guys? I didn't do it on the pod. Did you guys see my story at all about that when
No.
that started? All right, I'll give you a little tangent because it's pretty funny. So in the middle of the direct,
Jason.
we're all excited. Dev messages me private chat, and he goes, "So when are you selling the Steam Deck?" And I kind of laughed to myself. I was like, "I'm not going to sell the Steam Deck. I just put all my ROMs and stuff on it. Like I don't need the money to buy the Switch. I got it." And I started to think to myself, I have my Steam Deck is the LCD, it's the old one, right?
Yeah.
And I started thinking to myself, and I was like, what is that even worth? And I replied back to him, I was like, I can't even sell it. What am I going to do? GameStop's not even going to give me one Mario Kart for this? And that started everything. Like, for whatever reason, seeing it like that was so fucking funny. So now everything is like, it's like, don't sell your Switch
Like a
OLED.
Bitcoin.
That's like 2 Mario Kart worlds. Like, you can't, like, what does that even matter? But now, with the tariffs, I actually think, yeah, you probably do need to sell your old Switch. Like, and actually, maybe sell it soon before the prices get lower. Like, maybe get rid of it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Tell me about it.
Tell me about it.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you?
I haven't sold it yet. I haven't sold it yet.
What are
I
you
just cleared
hawking?
it out. I put it on Marketplace. It has a carrying case and it's got like the protective shell on it and everything for 550 Canadian dollars. I got a couple of nibbles.
What is
Got
it?
A couple of nibbles. 550.
But what is it?
The ROG Ally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
Just
the 3DS
regular,
or
just the
anything
base.
yet.
What's that?
No 3DSs or anything on the chopping block yet.
No, not yet. Not yet. The Wii U is up there, and I put it up there with games, and people are way more interested in the games.
Yeah.
Way more
They're
interested. in the games.
collectible. Yeah.
They
You
are
were like,
now.
Donnie, I got a couple GameCube. I was like, yeah. He's like, these things are expensive. Yeah.
I got
Oh, yeah,
$100 for Twilight Princess.
Oh, that's Sean. That's low.
That is low.
That's real low.
No, whatever.
That's the thing too. I'm looking at that.
That's
too,
a
dude. I'm
sweet
like,
deal. You could have sent that to me, damn.
Is it even in US? Is it really that low?
Oh, Sean, I think that game is like 200
I don't want to know.
plus.
Okay, I don't care. I don't even want to know. It's done.
Sorry.
It's gone.
I'll
Sorry.
look at it. I won't tell you, but I'll look.
Hey,
at it
you did a
myself.
good deed today. You made somebody very happy.
Whatever.
I love it.
Good. It went.
Good gamer energy.
Yeah, I
But
guess
yeah,
so.
Twilight Princess GameCube is very.
Not GameCube.
Oh, I thought you meant GameCube.
No,
was
Wii
it-
U.
Oh, Wii U. Oh, Twilight
Oh
Princess.
no.
HD.
That's a good
HD.
price, Sean. You did
Okay,
well.
so
Yeah.
You
that's
did well.
fine. Yeah.
I thought because I said you told me I've got some GameCube games and they're
Right.
really expensive.
Oh, I have one, and it was F-Zero GX.
F-Zero
Apparently,
GX.
this
Okay.
is worth a lot.
So when you said I
worth
sold
something.
Twilight Princess, I was like, dude.
No. I haven't sold any GameCube, and the GameCube stuff isn't even mine. This is Chelsea's. I have to ask her if we can sell this, but I
Don't
got
just you can sell it. Nobody gives a shit.
I'm
about
sure
GX.
she's gonna be fine. But like somebody's got to get a new case. Like it's got like
I'm
the
such a
gross sticker.
notorious F-Zero hater. I'm like nobody cares. Just get rid of it.
It'll be
Get out of the house,
Apparently,
Sean.
these PS3 games are worth a bunch.
Is that right? PS3 games?
I guess so.
Transformers?
This.
Devin's-
Wait, where is it?
Devin somewhere is sitting on a landmine. Dev has
This
like
is
every
worth
PS3
a
game
lot.
under the sun.
No shit. X-Men Origins Wolverine is worth a lot.
No way.
Yep, that's what I said. Go to price
No
charting.
way.
I'm
No
looking it up
way.
Right now.
No way.
Get the
Seth,
hell
fact check
outta
that.
here. I'm looking at it right now. Hold on.
Actually,
I think it's a lot. Like, what do you think before you look?
ooh,
I
that's a
shouldn't-
good game.
That's
Since
true.
you said it's a lot, it makes
Yeah, I
me
know. I
want
shouldn't
to
have said
say
anything.
more.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Because
So-
it's a lot, I'm going to say $35.
It's more
US.
$35.
Wow.
Yeah, complete. It is $82.
That's
on price.
crazy,
That-
Sean.
right?
Sell that shit.
Yeah,
That's
right?
one Mario Kart.
That's a
That's
Mario
a whole ass
Kart.
Mario Kart right there.
That's a
That's
whole
one
ass
Mario
song
Kart.
on it.
Jay says, "Why do you have those?" I don't know why we have this game. I really don't.
Why are those there?
crazy.
Chelsea is a big Transformers fan. That's why we
Those
have
are
these
good
ones.
games. I think those
Yeah.
were delisted. I think that might be why.
Oh, you might be
Yeah,
right.
they became hard to get, I guess.
Are those the Activision ones?
Yes.
You better sell them before they
ones.
throw that shit in the Game Pass. Your price plummets.
Well,
We're for
PS3.
Cybertron $60 complete.
That's what I'm like. Nuts.
Dude.
Very,
Aaron
very,
says-
very. I wanted. Jace asked me about the 3080. What, if mine isn't good enough? What about his? My comment on that has more to do with the CPU that I have more than anything. I want to have. I've got a great CPU. I've got the 9800X3D. I want to pair it up with a really great GPU. That's all.
That new AMD one.
I know. I'm thinking
It's the
about
hot
that.
stuff.
I just want to pair it. It has more to do with my CPU
It's
more
like
than anything.
it's like 8 Mario Kart worlds.
Maybe, or I just not buy a Switch too.
No, that's not on the cable.
See,
You
I
just
mean,
don't,
that's
you don't
if
buy
I
the
think about it
GPU.
too hard, man.
You don't buy the GPU.
Then I get kicked off Nintendo podcasts.
Do you know my wife? Have you guys talked to your partners about any of this, the prices or anything?
Yeah, I was talking to Lachlan and Amanda about it, and I talked to my wife about it as well. My wife is super excited, but when this whole news, she was working from home today. When this news came in, and I told her about it, like, hey, turns out we're not pre-ordering it next week. They like canceled that, and it's probably going to be more expensive. She looked at me and she kind of like had this look in her eyes. She's like, but we're still getting it, right? And I was like, well, I mean, yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
But like, we're going to have to figure it out, like, and that's the thing. Like we'll budget around it and we'll figure it out. But yeah, we're still getting it. She's excited. She's way into it. And Lachlan,
You're like,
Amanda,
babe, it does 4K.
Don't you
Like
understand?
the dock has a fan in it.
So many Ks.
I can play as the penguin. Like, what are you
The
talking
penguin,
about,
dude?
Yeah.
Penguin.
Yeah,
Dude, it's
Lachlan and
Moo.
Amanda though.
I mean,
they're.
You can't
What's
not.
that?
We can't not Moo.
Oh no, yeah, we gotta
Yeah,
have the
that's
cow.
yeah. We're
One
paying
must.
100%.
They're still in too. By the other hosts on the Nintendo Drive, like they're good too. Like
Yeah.
they're like, well, this sucks.
I
but
do
I'll figure
think
it out.
I think Nintendo enthusiasts are, and the
Yeah.
Wii U would tell me that there's probably between 13 and 20 million of us. I think
Right.
they're going to sell 20 million of this pretty
I
quickly.
think so.
Yeah,
Babe,
and
it's 120 frames.
it's the next 50 million that'll be the problem,
Right.
right? And hopefully by then things have worked its way out. But like, I think Nintendo's even thinking that like we're good for a year or two. Like
Right,
we'll
we're
just
solid
sell out
for
for a
launch.
minute. Yeah. My wife is more or less indifferent. She's not like she's definitely not negative, but when I told her about all this, I was like, and the world's angry and they're flooding the chats, and she was like, well, how much is it? And I was like, it's $450. She was like, for a Nintendo? Like even she's never bought a video game in her life. She's like, even her, she was like, that's a lot for a Nintendo. And she was like, are you going to get it? And I was like, of course. And she was like, but like you could just play the Switch you have. Like,
Sure.
and that is
Understand.
That's a very real.
Yeah.
that's the
Conversation.
that is the
Yeah.
that's the commentary that's probably happening right now in millions of households.
Well,
It's
and
like,
not
but do we
only, like,
really
and that's
need
talking
it?
about-
Like we
that's talking
have
about-
one.
Let's talk about the first Switch in the household. Like the reason there's so many Switches sold is because every house has.
Everybody
like
has
the kids get
multiple.
one.
Even singular people buy 2, 3, 4, 5 of them.
The single people buy like they're the people with no kids and all the money to spend. They can buy themselves more than one. But the
About
people
4.
with kids get each kid one.
How many Switches did you buy? I bought 4.
Yeah, I've got I think we've got 4 in the house, maybe 5. I think there's 4. Yeah.
I have my
We just have the 2 now.
Switch. I have my Switch launch day. I bought a red box that I then ended up giving to my nieces and nephews as a Christmas present.
Mm-hmm.
I bought an OLED, and then I bought the light.
Yeah, I think we're down to 4. I've sold, but we've had more than that. I've sold a couple. I've had a couple lights that I've sold.
Chat.
I've had,
how
I've
many,
had like
how
3
many
or 4 to my
Switches
name.
have you bought?
Yeah,
Just-
Yarden's got 5.
I'm
Not gonna be
interested.
impulse buying these.
Yeah.
Switch 2s. Not gonna be impulse buying those.
Well, I predicted on the early show on the Nintendo Drive earlier this year that there would be another SKU. And that
Yeah.
would be a really interesting part of the mix here. And they probably wouldn't do this for a full year. Like you look at the timing for the
Right.
Switch Lite, and it was like a year and a half, 2 years after
Mm-hmm.
the launch. And not that it sold a bunch, but it didn't sell 0. Like it
It
just
didn't
kind of like
sell a lot.
no, but again, like it didn't sell. It was.
I'm not.
there for
I'm
those-
not against it. I think I'm not. Like I should know. You should know. I love my Switch Lite. You know that. This is by far my favorite. I have the gold and everything. It's
Dude, it's
beautiful.
great.
I love it. But I have been kind of a mind that I know everybody's like, we'll get an OLED, we'll get a light, and I'm not actually so sure about the light because, and I'm actually have already changed my opinion since the direct, but the light did not sell enough.
Yeah.
Like given how much you took out of it, one year, I don't remember what it was, but I think it was like 2 years ago, they had announced that like it had just sold like 9 or 10 million, and the Switch had sold like 100.
Yeah.
Like it was like almost like at a 10% ratio, and it's like at that point, you just try to convert as much of that 10% to the higher model.
So
and like,
maybe it's
you know,
not
if
a
you
light.
can get
Yeah. Maybe it's not a light, but maybe it's just a different configuration of the SKU. Maybe it's just the
act-
console. No
say
dock.
I actually kind of agree with you now. If the Switch is 450 and 500, now you do introduce the Lite, but it's at 350.
All I'm saying
Like,
is introduce
it's not
a
at
cheaper price
200.
point.
Yeah.
Like part it out, like make it like a I could see.
And
Well,
then
I also
we're right
think-
back to the Wii U. Sell it without the gamepad.
I think you make it digital only.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Lite, but it's digital only, which means they will
It's a
get
Series
more
S.
on every one of you
Exactly.
go
That's what
Series
I'm
S
getting
with
at.
it.
Like, there's other ways to tackle this. There's a lot of
Yep.
different ways to offer a less
They
expensive
could do a
price
smaller
point.
screen, right? They could do a smaller build.
Mm-hmm.
They could put an OLED in it, even at a smaller size. They could use the OLEDs that they have, like the actual displays.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for the people that don't care about the VRR, they could use the OLEDs that they have.
Yeah.
They could even use that shell and just
Mm-hmm.
and keep the internals right and go up. You know, like they could do that to save costs.
No Joy-Cons.
And then they sell it at 350. Mm-hmm. That's your light, quote unquote. That's your light model.
What if we got a TV only model? What if we got no screen? What if it's
There are
just
a
an
lot of
actual
people- there are a
console?
lot of
Like,
rumors
we
about
wanted that
that.
too. Like, there's all these different
I
things.
would buy that. I want
So
that.
would
That would be
I.
great. Because you know what I've basically that's what I have. My OLED is my TV only model, and then this is
100%.
my portable model. Like I
think
walk
that would be
around
really
with this, and when I want to play on the TV, I play that.
Yeah, but they're also was you guys were talking to Donnie? They didn't why they didn't want to call it the Super Nintendo Switch
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of the backwards compatibility.
because the
confusion
Super
from-
Nintendo couldn't play in NES games like the Switch 2 can. They were afraid that people would be like, "It doesn't even play the Switch 1 games."
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's so Nintendo. I love it. Because here's in my head,
clue.
this is why I think this is funny. People read that and they're like, that's complete nonsense. These guys don't know what they're talking about. In my head, I think they're sitting in a boardroom going, all right, and when they ask you this question, what's the stupidest shit? Like, well, how can we like
That's
fuck with
hilarious.
it? You know, it's like the Iwata bananas thing. I think they're
Yeah.
sitting around just like trolling the shit out of people.
Throw that to
Yeah,
them.
maybe.
See what they say. Make them freak out.
What are they even doing over there? That's kind of how they want us.
I want to check like the VOD for the live stream, the Treehouse live stream. Like, what are the comments on the VOD? They must be.
If I were them,
insane.
I would have
Oh,
Hey,
disabled
yeah,
the chat.
PSVG is
Comment.
live.
If I was
There's a
them, I
lot
would
of you guys watching. What the hell? That's great. Good to see you guys.
I would have disabled the chat if I was Nintendo.
Nintendo. Oh, this is the Direct. I'll look at the Direct itself. First comment is, thank you, Nintendo, but our wallet is in another castle.
Yeah, it's
a good
all
one.
going to be that, I'm sure.
Google Maps for Breath of the Wild is crazy. That's good.
We have a lot of people that bought a lot of Switches.
Launch green light. I use blue light still in black. Hell yeah. Yep.
Bought 4.
Did they not just have like the actual VODs for Treehouse Live on their channel?
I have no idea.
I don't see it.
I also don't see it. That's
see
nuts.
Maybe they took it.
Clips.
Do you think they could have taken it down?
They must have, or it must
Do you
be
take it
private
down
or
to like
something.
re-upload it so you don't have any of those
I
things
don't know. The
attached to the
Direct
video?
is up there. Why would they? Yeah, I mean, those are big deal showcases, and they took them. They spent hours
They just
today and
clipped out-
yesterday.
They clipped out the segments as their own videos, and that's it.
Maybe that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that I talked about today is that whole idea of like this is way too expensive for kids. I'm hearing that a lot. I'm not sure if you guys are. And people are like, I can't give this to a 6-year-old, and I can't like
100
buy this for my kids for
100%.
Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking. So this came up. I think you've seen it, Sean. Did you see my little back and forth with my son?
Yes.
Yeah. So my son was rather dismissive of the Switch, and he told me his friends, nobody plays the Switch at school.
Oh,
Now,
saw
I realize
that. Yeah.
it's a very small sample, so I'm not taking the whole thing. But it did get me to thinking, and this actually was happening with my wife when I was talking about the price. We were kind of talking about that because she went to the kids thing, and I was like, you know what's weird? I was like, is it possible that they're not trying to get the kids? And I know it sounds crazy because it's
Not
Nintendo.
on day one.
But it's like, but look at the Switch. Like the Switch 2 doesn't look like a toy.
Right.
And they're
looks
talking
really
about
nice.
120 hertz and they're talking about all this. It's like, it's very different than what they've ever done. It's not
Mm-hmm.
very toy-like. It's not very family, like focused, like just using my son's statement as something to launch off of. If the kids are playing tablets and phones, like Nintendo has got to probably be squarely going, yeah, the Gen Xers and the millennials that grew up with us, that's the target.
Yeah.
And this is how much they can spend, and we're making a console for them, and in hopes that they show their kids.
Yeah.
You know, because like when you look at it backwards like that, it's like the Switch 2 doesn't really look like it is made for everyone.
I'm with you. Yeah.
It looks like a gaming console. Like it's
premium-
like something Xbox would have made. It's like it's not the Nintendo, quote unquote.
I would say that the Switch was similar at that time.
It's fair.
In that, like, the Wii U was a
Still think it was
Fisher-Price controller.
funny and the controllers, and it was like colorful. But you're right. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not
It's
wrong.
Just, it's just an evolution on that same sort of like timetable. That same.
Yeah.
It's just been going along with it. But yeah, like I remember thinking like the Switch
does feel mature.
was too sleek. Like, dude, this Pro controller, like this, we got a real controller. Finally.
Yeah, the Switch 2 feels like very sleek and target. It's almost like that Switch grew up. We all grew up, and now they're like, now
Exactly.
they're this old, and the Switch has grown up with you. Mm-hmm. I just don't know. I don't think they're thinking like 14-year-olds. It doesn't seem to be, at least the marketing.
I think about that. I think about that Switch one, that first like trailer, where it's just like, hey, this is for 20-year-olds who go on roofs and fly planes,
Rooftop Karen.
and play Skyrim and Zelda and stuff like that.
Well, we got Elden Ring and exclusive from
I mean,
software
Phil talks
game.
about all the time how they're not, they're trying to reach new players and younger players with subscription and cloud and stuff, to grow the market. Like, I wonder if Nintendo's like, yeah, our demo has changed. Our target
get Drew in
demographic
here.
is new.
Get
it's not.
Drew, iDrewby. Give him a link.
Oh, what's up, Drew? What's up, buddy?
That'd be great.
How much is this in
Buy
Australia?
my 9-month-old at Switch 2. I love it.
Hell yeah,
I
Drew.
love
He
it.
will. He absolutely
He
will.
would do it. That's it. He buys all the tech. That
That's so-
is a tech.
My
loving
kids
dude.
asked me if I was going to get them a Switch too. I almost laughed.
You laughed at
Jesus,
their face.
gamers,
Like, are you
gamers are old now.
nuts?
Get
Especially
out of here.
console game, like our gamers. Yeah, I think, not just us. That core demo
Yeah.
that's doing that stuff.
Oh,
Old
dude,
now.
the one of the guys who bought a bunch of my 360 games today, like he was talking to me about, I was playing this when I was a kid, and I'm like, God damn it, I was playing this when I was in college.
I do that to
Right?
Dev all the time.
Oh man.
That's
And I
Dev
looked
and
at
I's-
him like we were the same. Like,
Yeah.
I looked him in his eyes.
Hey,
like,
guy, what's up, bro?
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
How do you do,
I am 20 years
How do you
older
do,
than him.
fellow kids?
easily.
fellow youngster?
Oh man, yeah, I played this when I was a kid. But also, I think
remember
that
playing
generation
this
has
with my
aged.
dad.
I think that generation is aging terribly. You guys got to take care of yourselves out there, man.
You're
if
right
you're
about
like
that,
17 to 28, get your sleep, get your rest, just relax a little bit. Go to therapy and practice some breathing and write in a journal or something. For God's sakes, man, just chill. You're aging horribly, man, in front of our eyes. Anyway, he bought $200 worth of games from me today, so that was pretty good. He bought a
Damn.
bunch of stuff.
Switch 2 ready.
Just about. We're getting there. And he was happy and I was happy. And then some dude's going to buy $80 worth of Call of Duty
I'm
steel
not far
books
behind
over
you,
there.
dude. I think I'm gonna be doing the same thing.
Yeah, I don't
Gotta
need
afford this
stuff
some
anymore.
way.
Yeah.
Second half of our lives have been rough. That's their entire life.
He's not wrong. Their whole
Damn.
life has been this bad part that we're doing.
I mean, they didn't see 9/11.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. I mean, I remember when COVID started, I was like, I was talking to my nephew.
I didn't
who
fear
was-
for our country nearly as much then as I am now.
No. Yeah. Yeah, my nephew was like 7 or something when COVID started, and I was like, dude, like, you're gonna
Like,
remember
yeah, that
this.
reminds me of when those
I still-
two kids at Columbine got real angry.
It's like I still remember thinking like they had it all under control back then. I was like, they got it. Like they're all good up there. Like it was a whole different world for me. I would kill to have George W. Bush right now. Never voted for him. Would kill to vote for him today.
Golly.
Isn't that crazy, dude?
Yes,
What a world.
that is crazy.
What a
We
better
all thought
time.
he was the one. Like, oh no, he looks amazing in comparison. He's kind, paints and shit.
Yeah, he's kind of
Golf?
friendly, just kind of like a little,
Yeah.
little southern.
I would kill to have that guy
Now
back.
watch this
Kinda like
drive.
your-
Right, now
Drunk
watch
down-
this
you're
drive.
drunk
Get
on-
in there and do your thing, man. I would kill to have him back.
Oh my God, you guys, I can't.
Strategery. I would kill to have him back. Looks like a vacation compared to where we are.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Riley, fool me once. And for those of
these
you
are
that
all
don't know
clips
why
from
that's
the
funny,
Michael Moore
you're
documentary.
too young. You need to go back.
Yep, we were there.
All right, so you sold the Ally. You're selling the Ally.
I'm gonna. It's listed. It's a when you sell something for that price, it's a smaller audience that's going to be interested.
Oh, it
So
definitely is.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I might have to. This is a different conversation for me
Think
to have
about
with
350?
myself. Like, what's my price exactly? Is it? Would I let it go for 350? I'm not.
If you can get 300, I take it
300 US is probably where I'm at right now.
because you're not.
Okay.
If you're doing it in person, right, you're not having to worry
Yeah,
about
no eBay fees, or nothing
shipping
like
or
that.
Yeah,
fees.
none of
Like,
that.
so if somebody goes, I'll give you 300 today, just go, sure.
What is that? That's probably where I've got it priced.
Just cash. You don't gotta worry about any of that junk. Yeah.
Yep.
Worth it.
So tell me about it. You got it right after we did Sweet Hangs, and we've not podcasted since, and we never really got a chance to talk about it. We don't have to do an hour on it, but just generally tell me about it. What'd you think?
This is kind of how I've. I want to talk first about how I built my PC, and when I play PC gaming, I don't want there to be like something nagging in my mind that like, oh, this could be running better. I've done something wrong. I've like,
Right.
I
That's
don't
interesting.
like that in PC, and it's interesting because there's choice in the matter. And with consoles, it's like, well, this is what everybody else is experiencing. Like, it doesn't even come to my mind when something hiccups on the Xbox. It's like, well, that's just how the game works on Xbox. And when a game hiccups on PC, it's like, have I not tweaked something? Have I done something wrong? And then when it happens on my ROG Ally, it's like, this is not a great experience for me.
I feel slightly, connected to you with that because that's, I've had all these things, and for the record, I love the Ally. For anybody, I am going to put this on the Shack feed. I don't think they've really ever heard me talk about that stuff if they don't listen to PSVG. I love the Ally, really did. I tried the Ally, had the Ally X. I think for what they can do, it's a nice little performing piece of kit. And as our Shack listeners know, I adore and love that screen, and that's why Switch 2 hype is off the chain because it looks like it's a very similar screen, if not the same display, and that screen is incredible. That said, the lesson that I learned in my year or two with PC handhelds trying to replace my Switch is that I don't enjoy playing PC games, even on handheld, at the lowest possible settings just to get them to run.
Yep.
Like when you're giving that much up, and I think it's different. Like if you don't have
That's
a
well
PC,
said.
that's
Better
your
said.
option. But I have a PC. So
Right.
you sit there and you play and be like, oh, I could just literally go walk to the desk and just get something way better than this.
100%.
And that's always that's why it never stuck.
Yeah.
Like I have my Steam Deck, it is a ROM machine. That's
Right.
all I play on it, are indies and ROMs. It's a great emulation device.
Yep.
But like that's its thing. I'm not trying to play Cyberpunk on Steam Deck or anything like that. Like that's nonsense. I'm not doing that.
One thing that made like a major ding in my opinion on the ROG Ally was Armory Crate is in there, and there's another sort of like My Asus kind of there's a bunch of different places for you to do your updates. And this is a well-documented conversation about these handhelds, especially this one, is how much you've got to update drivers and update
It's like
this thing.
5 apps. There's like so many different buttons to press to update.
So I
that
found
thing.
out that like one of the apps that I was using isn't getting me the latest updates, and the website would actually have better updates. And I'm like, fuck this, man.
Wait for the Xbox
No
one to come. This is
way.
what every Xbox fan says they want.
Dude, that
This
was
is what they want.
That was a major problem. And Assassin's Creed Shadows is maybe not the best game to throw at this thing in terms of like determining whether or not I want to own it still or not.
Definitely not.
But it keeps telling me that I have the wrong drivers for this game and it's not going to run as good as it can. So I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll just go update the drivers. And so I update the drivers. I go back and watch the game. It's like, and it says the exact same thing. And this is where I found out that there's a different place to get my updates. I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah, that
this, and I don't mind this kind of thing typically, but I spent the better part of a day after Nolan was born. I was in the hospital just downloading updates and stuff and just like hoping that this was going to be the one that was going to make that message go away. And it's like, I'm spending so much time on this. And I'm like, okay, Assassin's Creed, not the great game to be throwing at this thing. Maybe I will make this my ROM machine. Maybe I'll just download a bunch of Super Nintendo ROMs and stuff like that. I'll play some UN Squadron on Z or ZSNES or whatever it was. 9X. There's 2 emulators there. And so I throw on UN Squadron, I get the ROM down, and and it fires up instantly, no problem. And then the controllers don't work. Like the buttons and the thumb pads or the D-pads, they don't work because you got to map it to some sort of like keyboard translation to the game. No,
I'm out.
I'm like, that was it. That was really, I'm like, this could be my awesome ROM
Sean,
machine.
we want our Xbox to be PCs. We're going to put Steam on it. It's like, it sounds great in the tweet. Sounds great in a statement until you actually get a hold of something like that and you realize what's going to happen.
Means.
Right.
Yeah.
When you go to play Gears and the shit just crashes.
And not only,
like,
and again,
what?
So you need to like take it one step further even too, because I'm very comfortable with a PC, but it's a PC
Same. Yeah.
without a keyboard or a mouse. You're interfacing with
you gotta
Windows
plug
without a
that
keyboard
in.
or mouse, which on its own is fine. But when you've got to do all these settings without a keyboard and mouse, when you're playing menus the game with no
Armory
keyboard or
Crate
mouse,
doesn't solve that because the game settings are built in and every launcher has their own. Like Armory Crate can't fix that.
treating it like it's a console, it's just not. I'm not though, and that's maybe that's the statement I needed to make for Dev's comment.
No, I'm with you because you've told me this. You're not.
I need
you
a
are
better interface. Like I don't mind.
Let me fill
tweaking
in
it.
for you. When he got it, I was getting kind of live reactions to Sean, and day one, Sean was like, "Oh, it's just a PC." Like he got it.
Yeah,
He
I
just
get it.
immediately was like, "Yeah, it's just a PC." He's like, "I don't." That was your words. You were like,
Yep.
It literally is just a PC."
It's
He's like,
just
"Yeah."
Windows. And you know
That's
what I
it.
did for my first day or week or whatever it was, because I knew I was in setup time. I knew that was part of like getting one of these things. Is I had a little USB dongle for my keyboard and mouse so that I could type and I could point and click and stuff like that. And that was fine for setup period. But I'm like, is that
You
what
can't
y'all
do
are
that
doing
every time.
all the time?
When you play a game and you want to change the setting, you can't be doing that.
I'm sitting
So
there,
then you
and,
got to
and
start
also
tapping the
Ubisoft.
screen, and
The Ubisoft app made me log in every single time.
I love that. Did you see that, Seth? Sean was like, let me tell you about fucking Ubisoft. Like he had like a turn and everything. Like,
It's not a Ubisoft specific thing, but their app made me log in every time. And every time I would log in on my ROG Ally, it would boot me out of my
log you out.
PC.
Yeah,
and then I
you run
did
into
so,
that.
and my password is complicated.
DRM's
I
lovely,
Try to be better
right?
about that.
Game key cards. Please be excited.
Like it's like it was Festivus. My airing of grievances.
Airing of grievances.
Yeah.
I've got a lot. I got a lot of problems with you people.
Now you're gonna hear.
I was posting crying memes earlier in the chat to express my feelings, and Dev replied back with a gift. Says, "It's supposed to be the summer of George." It's like the most fitting gift for the
How
day.
it feels.
It's
That
how
is
everybody feels.
Damn it, man! This is supposed to be the summer of George.
It's supposed to be the summer of George.
It does feel that way.
So I gotta sell it.
Godspeed.
Well,
Hope you get a bunch for it.
Yeah.
If these tariffs
So-
come in at crazy numbers, I'll have to sell the deck to you. Like just start selling a kid or something. I don't know. Start figure it out.
A kid?
No, I think I may have to like dip into like my gear stash. Like
I started looking at this console is one that's like it's gonna be the last one. This
I have the
year's-
Elite controller.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to have it. like it doesn't.
you start weighing
I have,
that, right?
I have a lot of other Gears controllers too. You know, it's just one less Gears controller. It's not the only Gears controller I have. Like I could maybe let go of that for a little coin. You know,
I
you
would.
start doing that gamer math. Is that what we're doing?
There's
thinking
other
about that,
controllers you can get that are very good as well and don't.
Oh, it's
cost
the
that
first Elite. It's the red one that everybody really wanted.
much. Oh yeah.
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 I don't even know if
She
those are
won't know,
really.
Jay. She doesn't even know what she bought me, dude.
I don't even know if those are valuable anymore because I don't keep up with them. But at one time, that controller was worth like a console.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, they're like $300.
Oh, yeah, like
Yeah,
I sold, you know, Donnie,
I'll go
Sean
look it
knows
up.
this, but I used to have a complete amiibo collection before we moved here.
Wow.
And I sold like 10 amiibo and basically funded the whole move, you know?
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah. When I got I was real early to the bootleg. So I did a video on our channel years ago called like, should you switch to amiibo cards? And I love the whole card form so much. I did that so all my amiibo for like $500. Like it was crazy. Like, and the price for those I think have only gone up.
Totally.
Like amiibo are very collectible.
Yep.
Yeah,
I just didn't want
so-
the space. I just didn't want the space.
That's what. That's what it was for me too. When I actually went through and I was like packing all of them up, I was like, dude, this sucks.
Yeah,
was like,
it's
this
so
is
much
awful.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
And
boxes.
I'm hypercritical about having a lot of stuff in all areas of the house, whether it's mine or not mine. And so as I found myself complaining about it more and more, I'm like, I could probably start with my own stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about other people's stuff. I could maybe look at this basement of mine and go. That's how all this started, really. It's like,
I mean, I could always sell some games. I wouldn't want to, but I could always. I mean, those are easy.
Yeah.
I could turn those in. I could turn in a Switch. I don't want to, but I could.
Yeah. I'll trade Donnie one Switch 2 for Last of Us book. I have a Last of Us.
Yeah.
Um,
I sold my Last of Us skateboard.
Last of Us what?
Remember, I had
Skateboard?
I had
Oh, yeah,
I had the Naughty Dog, the studio
Yeah.
signed the skateboard, and I had a collector come across and
I've got a strategy guide
like
still in its
won it.
wrapper.
So. But my
Last of Us.
book, Yarden, that book is still here and it's not going anywhere. That is sacred ground.
That Zelda box you got in the background is amazing. Is that Tears or is that Breath of the Wild? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I've got both the collector's editions.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
the
yeah.
Tears one, the one in frame. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, you got some good. Like, none of us really want to think about how much money we've spent to have these things that we are selling.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, because that would be crazy. You know,
I did
just
tell my
like-
wife Wednesday night. I was like, "Oh, you already know this because we were on together." But I was like, "Boy, am I glad I bought all those Japanese N64 games already."
Yeah.
Because I really went through it. And it was very funny because my wife at the time, Sean was on the call with me. We were talking about it. I was telling Sean, I was like, I'm spiraling, dude. I'm buying like 100 of these games. And my wife was like, you don't have to buy them all now.
No,
You could
do.
just do like one
Just
a month
understand.
or one a
Nope.
paycheck. And then I told her yesterday, I was like, yeah, glad I didn't listen to you. You don't get those opportunities often, but when they come by, you got to use them.
Yep. Do it now.
Yeah. But I'm really hoping. I'm hoping that it's $50 more on every one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. And it's like, yeah, people are gonna be excited and people are gonna be upset. And I'm hoping, hey, listen, if we get at this point, I don't even know if we should think that we are gonna get the chance to pre-order. But if we get a chance to pre-order,
I will.
keep that energy and don't click, so me and my friends can get one. Like,
Right.
I was saying that earlier today. I was like, hey, the good news is I'm probably going to be able to pre-order it just fine.
like I want to be able to like make coffee and sit down and like calmly and patiently go through the checkout process. I want to double check the card number and everything
Yeah,
before I
they're
get
gonna
locked
greet
out
us
of the
there.
system.
They're going to guide
know?
us through the whole process. Like a
It'll be
personal.
like buying a car.
Exactly.
What if Switch-
They
what if
welcome
Sw-
you.
What if Switch 2's launch felt like the Wii U's launch? Like, what if you walk in, there's nobody there to get one?
We've all been there, man. We've been there for the Wii, where
But
it
it's
was
crazy to
impossible
think
get
that
there.
the Switch. How did it happen so fast? Like, they just
Happened in like
3 days ago there were 100 articles about how it's going to be the biggest launch in video game history.
Yep.
That just happened.
It is nuts that they can go out and say that without knowing how much it's going to
And
cost.
here we are, like 48 hours later, like, I hope they do let us pre-order. I hope they don't just delay it
doom and
forever.
gloom.
Oh, well.
Yeah, we just
I'm
gotta
gonna be
wait and
fine.
see, man.
I was born into a great country over here.
The leader of the free world.
Yeah.
Stop showing off your country over there.
Yep. Yeah.
I
I can
need
also
you to,
afford a Switch too because we didn't have to pay anything to have that baby born. Paid
I
nothing.
need you to. I need you to sneak some stuff in through for Extra Life.
Hell yeah.
Like we need you to bring in the
Smuggle it.
goods. Now I will finally come to Rome, New York, Sean, so I can
There
get
you
my
go.
Switch 2 from you.
You can come up here. I'm not doing it in Rome. We'll do it here.
Right, but I need you to cross the border with it.
No, you come up here and get it from me. Pick it up.
But then I gotta pay when I declare it through the border.
That sucks for you.
I saw somebody. They were like, are people going to go to Canada and get it? And they're like, yeah, but you have to pay the fee when you get there. And this person wrote back, it goes, not if you throw the box away until you brought it with you. And I was like, is it that easy? It's probably
It is
that easy.
100% it's that easy.
It's probably that easy, right?
It totally is that
I already
easy.
had this.
Yeah. Yeah, you put
Just
it
have
through
Sean
scanner
mail you
like
the
your
box.
laptop.
Like, you can mail the box.
I can
I'll
ship you the
declare
box, afterwards, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
I'll sell you the
hilarious.
box.
That's hilarious. Oh, yeah.
Hold it hostage.
Exactly.
Have you ever
that box?
have you ever bought a
Exactly.
box?
No, but I've seen those listings on eBay.
Yeah.
Like, just the box?
Case only, box
Yeah,
only.
that's insane.
Yeah.
I have a lot. I do keep a lot of the boxes. Like my 360 sitting in its original box. The Wii U came as the Super Mario Maker deluxe set.
Oh, sorry, Sean. Yes, boxes, but Yarden hits me with the speaking of N64, analog 3D going to be $500 now. That's another way I could quickly save up some money, is I
Not
could
buy
just
that.
cancel that pre-order.
Yeah, let's kill that. Yeah.
Like that, money spent is money saved, right? Like I could just, hey, sorry, analog. My 64 is still actually excellent. I've got the 4K upscaler and all that, and HDMI. Like, I don't have to have that. That literally was I just want to have the new cool 64.
You got me really hyped about it. Actually, I wasn't.
I
originally,
really
and you
do
got
want
me
it.
there.
I do
It
want
is
it.
cool.
Yeah.
But if this gets crazy, that's an easy way to free up $300 for me. I could just cancel that.
yeah,
I don't want to though.
yeah.
I don't want to.
I'm just realizing the Switch 2 has HDMI 2.1, 120 frames. It actually, I can't get the maximum benefit of the technology from the new Nintendo on my TV on the main floor because it's a plasma TV from 2011.
Yeah.
I won't be able to get it at 120 frames. It doesn't
Nope.
have HDMI 2.1.
Nope.
Damn. Nintendo.
Mario Kart's not 4K though, so it'll work that.
Yeah. But it'll be 60, I guess.
It will be.
60
It's
frames.
60.
Yeah, it will be
It's
60.
1440 60.
It has HDR support, I think, too. On
Yes.
Yeah, that TV doesn't have
Yeah.
HDR.
Like,
But the native refresh rate on a plasma is 600 hertz.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Nobody knew that. Nobody
know
knew
that.
that. We all opted for LCD at 60 hertz. You idiots.
I had an old plasma that was huge and heavy.
Oh, yeah, they're so heavy.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
super heavy.
It was a great TV.
Yeah, Jace knew it. A few of us knew it, but nobody cared. Everybody's like, OLEDs, look at the blacks on OLEDs. It's like, look at the blacks on plasmas from 2008, you dummies.
Still hanging on.
We had it.
We almost made it, guys. We were so close. We flew so close to the sun. We almost got there.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Too many. It's
this
okay.
has been
Is this
fun.
going on audio? Is this going on a podcast?
Yeah, I guess I'm
We
going to
just
put it
do a
out.
podcast? All right, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm going to put it out.
Cool.
Be a little
Yeah, put out.
mini
then.
shack.
Donnie puts out.
Thanks for letting me. Yeah, thanks for letting me hang out.
Sean looks at the
Appreciate it.
blacks.
Yeah. Damn.
Just the same as everyone else. Or
That's your statement. Just like seems good to me.
Don't
Yeah,
act
and you
like
don't?
you don't.
yeah, and you don't, Donnie? What a dick.
This was fun. Thank you guys for joining me. I will put this out. Listeners, I hope you enjoyed Half Shack, Half Hangs. Shack Hangs. If you've never heard me and Sean on Sweet Hangs, this is kind of what you can get yourself into. Deep dives into Xbox and Valve and PC and what that means for Nintendo for some reason. It's kind of what we do.
It's all pipes.
So, Sean, Seth, thank you for joining me. Listeners, I hope that hang was sweet. Hopefully that helped you get through. I'll see you on Sunday, and we'll see what the hell the world has got for us then. But until then, peace, Koopalings. Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And I forgot the line already. What?